Okay. Recording everywhere. What do you think?
I think it's a lot to do about nothing.
Nothing? What do you think I'm doing with that?
Wait, is it on now?
Yeah, we're going.
Are we on the TV?
Yeah, we're on. We're here.
How come there's a screen picture over there but not here? Well, I get that, but
Different cameras.
is that a video camera or is that a picture camera?
All video.
All the videos are here.
Yeah. What do you think the clapping's for?
To mark a starting point?
Yeah, to kind of sync it all up. They got 3 different cameras going. Yeah.
It's the same thing as the thing.
Exactly. That's the exact same thing. Look at you. Were you a film student?
I should have been.
What's the worst film you've ever seen?
Oh, Birdemic.
Oh, okay, Birdemic, yeah.
But that was purposely going in to watch it knowing it was bad.
Yeah, which one you like paid for, thinking like, oh, I can't wait to see this movie?
It was a kids movie with my daughters.
Yeah.
It was Lava Girl and Shark Boy, or Shark Girl and Lava Boy, or something.
What was it about?
I have no idea, but it was just the worst, absolutely the worst. Where are we looking at?
You can look anywhere you want. You look at me. You got we're just having a chat.
Do I
It's a
have
fireside chat. Look at this.
Any option other than looking at you? What?
My goodness.
Oh boy.
I'm half you.
Oh, that beard's not has nothing to do with me.
My mom didn't have a beard either.
Ah.
Oh.
So where am I supposed to look?
You just have a conversation on a deck. You don't need to worry about it. I'll deal with all that in post.
But there's 400 things out here.
I know. I'm trying to multicam shoot.
Aren't you at all concerned about the heat damaging your camera?
Kind of. Yes. This is my first attempt at this. I probably shouldn't have put a giant roaring flame here.
That seems way too close.
Let me move this one, but this one seems too close.
This one especially.
That's audio.
But it doesn't matter. It could still be damaged.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I mean, those things put off some heat.
Yeah, here, I'm backing this up. Say entertaining things while I'm doing this.
Ah.
That's our go-to?
But
Alright, so let's do this.
you would lose your mind if all this shit melted down and was broken.
I mean, I'd live.
Yeah. You know what? You would somehow find a way to blame me for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That'd be the best course of action, I think. Alright, looking good.
What's this crazy contraption here?
That's a camera.
What's it pointing at?
You?
No, it's not.
What do you mean?
This thing here.
Oh, the microphone?
Oh, that's audio?
Yeah.
And that's video.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
then
correct.
what's this?
That's everything is video except for that one.
Why 3 videos?
You ever see a multicam shoot? You think on Letterman, you think it's just one camera?
This isn't interesting enough for one camera.
Look, I find this stuff fascinating. I like doing this stuff. I've never done a multicam shoot before. Regular Ben Hansen here.
This is really too close, Dan.
Let's see. Let's go here.
I mean, I'm seriously concerned about it.
Yeah.
That's heat.
Fire is heat. You're
this
right.
is sensitive equipment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just trying to look out for you here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think we're looking good here.
Can we be seen in here in the darkness?
Yeah. The fire is lighting us up. That's where the fire helps out. Yeah.
You know one thing I forgot to do on this trip?
What's that?
Zip hop.
Well, look, it's not zip hop without the lyrics. So hit him. Come on. Hit him with the zip hop.
Hit him with this. I'm not inspired yet.
That's where it gets intolerable. It's a lot of my name is Paul and I'm here to say 60-year-old white guy thought like this is what you think rap is type stuff. It's great.
I'm sitting by the fire. It's
No, don't do it without zip hopping. The people will love it.
No, you got to time it right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting by the fire. It's my life's desire. With my son named Dan. He's my number 1 man. What do you think?
He does this a lot. He has 3 kids. We all hate it, and we've all told him in no uncertain terms that it's insufferable. No one likes it, not even in a funny way. It's just hard to get through, and we wish he would stop.
Why do you think I do it?
That's a shoot.
A shoot.
Do you know what that means?
It's a wrestling thing.
Ooh, look at you.
It's kayfabe.
Whoa, look at you go. Weird you had to turn or take your jacket off amidst this roaring flame.
I needed it earlier. I don't need it now.
Yeah, the fire makes things hot.
So, general topics. What are we doing here?
We're just talking.
We could sum up the week.
Yeah. Here, let's start with something you said at Fenway Park. So, Dad, you're here in town. It's your 60th birthday was yesterday, 2 days ago? Thursday. It is now Saturday. You said something. One of my favorite things you do is say things with the utmost confidence and certainty that are just factually incorrect. Let me hit you with this one because we said there was going to be more to unpack here. You said at the game we were talking about Boston accents, and you were saying that it's like, oh yeah, you're from a place that doesn't have an accent, and it's like I think I said that when I was like 12, and I was someone told me like, oh well, no, you just think that because that's you grew up hearing that, and you're like, no, it's just we don't have an accent, we have just the default accent. It's like, you know why you think it's the default, right?
Because it's mine.
Right, and that's all you've heard growing up, right?
Well, let me ask you this.
Sure.
Do folks with hardcore like Boston accents, do they not think they have an accent? They know they have an accent.
They probably think they have a Boston accent.
Right.
And we have a Midwestern accent.
Which doesn't exist.
Why?
Because there's no irregular pronunciations of anything.
What is irregular?
The way, ka, going to the ka in the yard.
But do you think that's irregular to someone from Boston?
Or South. I don't know, y'all.
Do you think that's irregular to someone from the South talking like that? If you were born in Atlanta...
Because they know they speak with a Southern accent.
Just like we speak with a Midwestern accent.
But that doesn't exist. You have to have...
Why is it different? Why is it different from the Midwest?
Something has to exist in order to have it.
What does that mean?
It's too deep for you.
No, this is you realizing you have no idea what you're talking about. You really do believe that, right? Because here's the difference. I think a lot of times I do things as bits, and a lot of people are like, does he actually think this? So I'm asking straight up, do you believe this?
Yes.
You believe that we don't have a Midwestern accent? Because that doesn't exist?
Yes. There's nothing we say, or we don't say anything in a way that's peculiar.
But what determines what's peculiar,
If it's not said the way it's intended to be said.
How is it intended to be said?
Like the word automobile is supposed to be automobile. In England, it would be an automobile.
And do you think a person in England would think that's peculiar, how I said that?
How they would say it?
Right.
No, because they know they have British accents.
Right. And we should know that we have Midwestern accents.
But the thing has to exist to have it.
What does that mean? What are you talking about?
You can't have a Midwest accent when there's no accent to have.
Oh.
I'll die on this hill.
I don't know if we're getting past
It's
that.
like North Dakota, Minnesota.
Right. If you asked Tim Turry if he thought it was weird or peculiar that he says broom instead of broom, well, no, that's how you'd be like, oh yeah, I've got the Minnesotan accent.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
If you say Minnesota like Minnesota or Minnesota, which is the one with an accent?
Well, to me, someone who grew up in Kansas, Minnesota is the Minnesotan accent.
So you don't think people from Minnesota who say Minnesota like that realize that they say it differently than everyone else?
Who's everyone else?
Outside the Midwest or outside that region.
Right.
Can they hear us?
Yes, there's a billion microphones here. Yes. Yes.
We got the roaring fire here.
It's not that loud. It's just fire.
All right. I'm right on this.
Really?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, folks. Genuinely, if you agree with him, let him know. If you don't, let him know. I'm curious. Here's the thing. If this video came out and it was unanimously people thought you were wrong, would you reconsider?
No.
I think that's the thing. I think it's like in the face of like being wrong about it. When was the last time you feel you were totally wrong about something and your mind was changed because you learned more?
Oh, it's happened.
Yeah? Can you think of a time?
There's been times in my life, it's been a while, but when I was younger, when I was pronouncing a word completely incorrectly,
Yeah.
and someone would point out to me and explain to me the right way to say it, and I recognized I was wrong, and I corrected it, and haven't done it that way since.
Yeah. That's like a right or wrong, that's like a binary thing. This is like a concept that I think you're failing to understand.
I'll think about that throughout the night, and I'll get back with you.
Okay.
When I was a young man, I was like most young people, I thought I knew everything. It turns out I really didn't know much.
Yeah.
But I used to have this saying that if you ever get in an argument or a debate with me, know that you're wrong, because I will not engage in a debate or an argument unless I know 100% that I'm right. And I've shifted that now. I'll accept the fact that I could be wrong. But I used to not if I got into something, unless I knew I was right,
Yeah.
I wouldn't push it.
I feel like I have not changed all my opinions, but I feel like just the way I've thought about things in most every regard that matters has changed since like college. In terms of just like what matters in life, like just things that like in college I would say with the utmost like, if you don't like Bob Dylan, you're an idiot. You know, it's like that type of stuff I've softened so much.
You've gotten a lot better about that.
Well, yeah, just because it's just, I don't know. I think you just meet enough people and you realize how like abrasive that can be and things like that, and you recalibrate. You know.
I did think of an example. Well, you know this, but nobody else will. I grew up in an environment and a time where most women did not work.
Oh, your mom was
My mom was the root of this. She was very negative about any woman that worked.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got out in the world on my own, got married, started having my own family, and realizing there was more to life than my hometown, you realize that most people need 2 incomes to survive.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's admirable that anybody that wants to work is out there working.
And that things that you might have just accepted as gospel because like a parent told you it at a certain time. It was like, yeah.
Well, and as you get older, you learn that everything you were taught wasn't necessarily correct.
Here's a fun recent one I learned. Back in the day, growing up, you had very strong thoughts about wine and the drinkers of wine and their hoity-toityness and so forth. I now drink wine on a regular basis. Yeah. What do you think of that, mister?
I think you're proving me right.
That I'm hoity-toity?
You're veering towards hoity-toity.
You are the only person on the planet, I think, that accuses me of being hoity-toity.
Hoity-toity.
You were calling these elite coastal pants earlier because I had 3 pockets.
Hoity-toity didn't even used to be on your GPS, but it's not a destination yet, but it's on the GPS.
By the way, you keep leaning towards that. You don't need to. Just sit comfortably.
I'm doing that for comfort.
Okay. So do you do?
You're not headed towards hoity-toityness. You're not in hoity-toity, but it's on the map.
Okay.
It's an option for you to go to.
Give us your thoughts on
And
why.
you've changed so much in the last 10 years, mostly for the better.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still a fairly young man, so you're changing. So the being a wine scarf guy.
I'm sorry, what? Please elaborate on the scarf part of that.
A scarf and wine guy. You're.
I'm sorry. Have you ever seen me wear a scarf? And also, if I did, who gives a shit?
I said headed towards.
Oh, I'm heading towards scarfdom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scarf City. Here we go.
Scarf City, USA. All right, got it.
You are. You're abandoning your roots.
Okay, so let's just hear the thoughts on wine.
Wine's fine. I do think that a lot of people drink wine because they think it makes them look classier than drinking beer or whiskey.
All right, let's hit you with this. Do you think Mike Mahardy actually enjoys drinking wine?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You're not that far out of left field here. All right. I thought you were going to say he's like trying to put on airs or something like that.
When he was born, like 90% of his DNA was hoity-toity DNA.
When he was born on the lacrosse farm?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you do acknowledge that people can enjoy wine. Do you think I enjoy wine? Do you think any part of me, genuine question, do you think any part of me is putting on airs?
No.
Okay. So why do you think I'm drinking wine?
Because you're not wired that way.
Why do you think I'm drinking wine then?
It's part of the whole evolution of you being married.
She's not even a wine, but what are you talking about?
It's just what you do.
What does that mean?
You do different shit when you get married and you get settled down and domesticated and you get older. You do.
I love the domesticated thing.
Yeah.
Well, there's the great toilet lid fiasco. It's the greatest divide in our relationship in the last 5 years is the toilet lid fiasco.
You've got to admit, and again, mostly for the good, that you have changed dramatically, and I think a lot. She's been really good for you.
Oh my God, yeah.
You're getting close to resembling an adult.
Well, okay.
Whereas before, it wasn't even close. But there are parts of you that are a lot more adult, and
do you think if I hadn't gotten married, like I think you ascribe a lot of things and changes to getting married.
Yeah.
You definitely have your thoughts on marriage in general.
Well, marriage is a life changer in a lot of ways.
Right. Do you think I would have changed, like if I didn't get married, do you think I'd be the exact same as when I was 25?
No.
Right.
But you wouldn't be the exact same as you are now.
Well, sure. I mean, every big life thing changes.
You wouldn't be drinking wine.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
So wait, so you directly think I'm drinking wine because I got married?
I think it's a result, a byproduct of you becoming married and older and settled.
What part of that?
And settled down.
When she's not even really a drinker,
Right.
why would that
It's just
changed
part of
this?
the whole settling down and being not a wild man drinker and being more sophisticated. And
I drink 10 Bud Lights in a fucking stream and fart 6 times on a stream and play Donkey Kong. Do you think I'm worried about seeming like adult or hoity-toity?
yeah, but 20 years ago you would have drank 40 lights and farted 60 times.
I guess I am. Yeah,
It's not an overnight thing.
Okay, I guess it's, the fart scale is a gradual
It's
curve.
a gradual thing.
That's right.
Again, I could be wrong.
Do you think you are largely different than you were 10 years ago?
Yeah, not in any good ways.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
What do you think? What are the key things you think?
I've become far less social.
Yeah. I mean, 10 years ago, you weren't exactly, like, you were pretty
It was the beginning of the downfall.
downfall.
No, I mean that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The homebody thing, the not wanting to do anything, I feel
Uh-huh.
like you were deep into that about 10 years ago.
Yeah. Everything radically changed for me when I retired from the post office.
That was the thing I was concerned
It
about.
was the structure, taking the structure out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't good.
That was the thing. I remember you talking to me when you were considering it, and I remember telling you on the phone that I could see it going one of two ways. I could see it either being, well, this could be really, really good for you. You now have all this time. Because it was a hard fucking job. You were busting your ass, especially during, like, holiday seasons and stuff.
And time consuming.
Exactly, yeah. So I thought, like, okay, either this is going to be, you now have all this time, and you're going to, like, you're going to find hobbies and passions and go on vacations and travel and stuff, or...
I withdrew into myself.
That's the thing. And, like, I think I knew that inclination that you already had.
And the other big thing is physically.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, because I didn't have a walking route. I did most of the work in the truck, but I was on my feet for half the day and physically active all day. And then there was a period of 8 or 9 years where I didn't exercise. I barely did anything physical.
Well, that's one area I want to give you credit very recently, like in the last year or so, is that something happened and you decided you didn't want to feel like that anymore, and you have actually started, you've got a gym membership, and I remember being proud of you, but being like, oh, okay, now you actually have to go. And I knew that because you are such a creature of habit and you fear change, that, like, if you could just turn it into a habit, and, like, I know, like, look, I'm no fucking athlete, I need to work out way more than I do. It's the hardest part is making it a habit. But once you do...
Yeah, and that's a struggle every time I do it. But
yeah, but you're doing it now.
yeah,
right?
3 times a week.
Yeah, and I even said right when I saw you on this trip, it's like, holy shit, I noticed. Because, like, I used to get concerned when, you'd get halfway up a flight of stairs and have to, like, sit down and, like, wheeze, basically, or go to the mailbox and get winded, Like, and now your cardio, like, walking around Boston and stuff, like, we did a lot of walking.
It's definitely better.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Does it feel good?
Yeah, I just got tired of feeling like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all that was. Yeah, I had that membership, 5-6 years ago, and I was paying for it every month. Not much, $10 a month. But,
Which is insane. I don't know how the fuck. Every other gym is like $80 a month, and Planet Fitness is $10.
That's why the Midwest is awesome.
Do they have Planet Fitness this year? Like on East Coast?
They can't be $10 a month.
I think they are.
Really?
Are we sponsored?
Yeah.
Can we be?
Yeah, but it takes 3 hours to get there in traffic, and if you don't have a car, it's $50 in an Uber. Jesus. Big cities should just call themselves, welcome to the big city. Anywhere you want to go. 45 minutes, $50.
Every fucking day. We were just in Boston. Only 2 days. Every bar we go to, every time you go to order a drink, let's take a Bud Light. What is that, $18? It's just like these poor bartenders just being like, I don't set the prices.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Today we went to a barbecue place, and the lady's like, oh, any allergies? And you go, just high prices. God damn it.
They love
just pull the string on you. It's like, it's too expensive.
Waitresses love old guys making jokes.
Oh, God, about things they can't control.
Right.
Yeah. We came up with a new character in Boston.
What, Cookie Guy?
Cookie Guy?
Oh, in Boston.
A cheap predator.
Oh.
I pictured, because literally just every single thing you do, every single thing you buy, it's just, it's too expensive. It's shiny. I don't know how many times I heard you say.
Don't say the name.
What?
Don't say where I live.
It's on my Wikipedia. You would say every time, like, if I was back in Kansas.
Goose and gander. Goose and gander.
Goose and gander? What does that mean? What is that?
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
What does that mean? What are you talking about?
Everybody else knows.
Sure, okay. Oh, if I was back in Kansas, I could spend 10 cents in gas. I could go to McDonald's. I'd spend $4 on a meal that's delicious, and it fills me up, and it's even got a drink.
Check.
But Every single time.
But here it would be $30.
Well, yeah, but like, why even travel if that's how you like? Go then stay home and eat McDonald's.
Well, don't fucking travel to big cities. That's the thing. If you quit moving to these big cities, I'd quit having to go
I
to
don't
them.
live in Boston. You wanted to go there. Oh, jeez. Are you
When I'm used to going out to lunch by myself, and I can literally get a great meal for $6, and then all of a sudden every lunch I have is $60.
I mean, we still have McDonald's.
You don't
here.
think I'm supposed to balk at that?
I mean, we still have, but I mean, here's the difference. I feel like you, even when traveling, or especially when you're home, like you're not the type that like, oh, I'll treat myself. I'll go out and I'll get like a nice meal or something. And I'm not talking some Michelin star $100 meal or anything like that. I'm saying going out and spending $24 on a dinner instead of $4.
That's ridiculous.
So you don't see the value in that?
No,
Why?
because you're hungry, you get the meal, you're not hungry anymore. It's the same result. You can do it for $5 or $50.
So for you, it's purely utilitarian.
Wow, look at you with a $30 word.
$30 words.
Yeah, it's all about the money.
So you never like, oh, I'm going to treat myself and get this thing costs a little more, but I'm going to get this.
Occasionally I will splurge and do Uber Eats, but that's more a route of
Convenience.
convenience and laziness.
So it's never just like, I want to get a step. Like, I love McDonald's.
But I won't do that often.
Yeah, but you know I love McDonald's. And I know you think I'm like hoity-toity now or whatever, but like I'm still eat McDonald's and Taco Bell and Popeyes and shit like very, very frequently, like at least once a week.
Right.
Like, but I also like to occasionally like, oh, we're going to go out to like a nice restaurant and stuff. Oh, God. Something made a sound.
What was that?
It's that one. I'll go check real quick.
Some kind of digital coyote or something?
Digital Coyote.
There's a band right
It's
there.
a Digital Coyote. That's right. Everyone loves the Digital Coyotes.
They're really good.
Yes.
You should have seen them before they were playing arenas.
Sure, of course.
Seen them in the clubs. That's where the magic was.
Yeah. I guess.
But you're hungry. Fulfill the need. You don't have to spend $50 to do it, unless I'm with you. And the thing with you that's triply infuriating is you do that phrase, your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Oh, sure.
So true with you. You almost always order way more than you eat, and then you get those. It's a ritual now at this point. You get the styrofoam box, bring it home, and then it never gets eaten, and it gets thrown away. And it's because I hate wasting food.
I do too. I hate it. And it's like if it wasn't like a traveling thing where it's like on a time limit, then like I don't think I would do that. I think it's with you. We get appetizers when we go out, and
it's the beers too.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking more about like the appetizers like fill me up. And like normally like Bonk and I aren't going to like, family feed farm places where it's giving me like 20 pounds of macaroni and cheese or whatever. So like it's too much food. And that is on me. I need to like not order as much appetizers.
Yeah. And it's a lot of it's the drinks because it's just a different way of doing things and that's fine. But I don't like to drink alcohol when I eat. Yeah. And so I'll usually just get water and you usually get a couple $6 beers.
What is the right price for a beer?
$3.50 max.
$3.50 max?
Yeah.
Okay. Like regular, like not on sale?
I mean, my standard used to be, bar specials 20 years ago used to be, you could get a beer for $2.
Oh, fuck. When I was in college, they were $1.75. Those giant schooners, Louise's?
College town, yeah.
I love it. It seems like something that's annoyed you more as time's gone on is the selection of beers. Because
you only need like 2.
I remember I looked at a drink menu in Boston. You're just like, no, the Dan I knew would never look at a drink menu. He would just point and say, "Give me a beer," and take one of the 4 beers that there should be. And like,
it's true.
I know you really don't like it when beers have weird names. You told me, like, my friend's son drinks a beer called Yoga Pants. Oh, this one says Kitten something.
What was that? Kittens and Cookies or something?
Something. There's a billion beers.
And they can't be good.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not like a craft beer guy, despite what you think. I'm not a craft beer guy. Bacalar. Oh, my God. I would love to hear you. Bacalar would kill you.
Me and Bacalar and Broadway Alex should all go out sometime. And Jeff will order fancy beer and Bonniello
and Bonniello won't be able to go there because there was a chicken there in 1980.
No, he'll sing about it.
Yes.
Oh, the beer's so expensive and there's so many choices. What should we do about the beer? Shut up,
Hey,
Alex.
is theater good?
Shut up, Alex, and order something.
Bacalar, I feel like it's like one of it's like Bacalar is like pinball, hockey, and like being a beer enthusiast. Like every time I'm drinking Bud Light, or if I order Bud Light, Backlar will always tell me like, oh, you might as well just say I'll have a glass of piss. I'll drink my own piss. It's just like that's all, because that's what you're drinking. It's just pee. It's just piss. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
It tastes good and it makes me go, ah, after about 6 of them.
I will say, I am with you on this. Again, despite what you have concocted in your head about me being a coastal elite beer snob, I drink to get drunk. That is it. But I think there are fun ways to mix it up. I think that, like, trying different flavors of beer or messing around with wine and stuff like that is just a fun, different path that I'm used to. I think that's the difference. I like the different paths. I like experiencing as much of that stuff as possible. I think you find something that agrees with you, and you were like, I am going to walk this fucking trail and stomp it down flat and only stay on this trail. Right? Am I wrong? I'm not saying you're right or wrong or anything. I'm just saying this is how you are, right? Yeah.
But you have to admit that there are some people who drink off the wall beers and just to show, hey, I'm different and I'm
like in a replacement for a personality, where
yes.
it's like I'm the beer guy.
Yeah,
like, I'm sure there's. Yeah. I think with any fandom, with any hobby, I think there's always that like, oh, I want to, but not everyone. A lot of people just genuinely like the thing.
Yeah,
you know?
and I don't think that's you.
Right.
Well, there's enough idiot left in you to last a lifetime. You'll be fine.
I've been getting shit for 8 years for ordering a Blue Moon.
You've got an idiot reservoir that's huge.
They're not going to have Blue Moon at this bar. This is a real bar in Kansas. They're not going to have a Blue Moon. I'll have a Blue Moon. Okay, that'll be $4.
That's the key. It was $4.
Oh, instead of $3.50. $3.50's the right amount.
No, that's fine. That's just not stupid like $12.
I used to talk about like old opinions and stuff. I used to like be very in college. I'd be like, I'm never paying. There's no reason to ever pay over $20 for a piece of clothing. I'm never gonna do it. Not for a shirt. You can get a pair of shoes for $20. I can get a meal. A meal should never cost more than $8, maybe $10. I was so everyone with an earshot. I would never shut up about it. It's like, oh, I bought a fancy shirt. I was just. 60-year-old you is 20-year-old me.
I still think you're kind of right.
I know. You were saying, what, 25 is your shoe limit now?
Yeah, I don't need fancy shoes with an athlete's name attached to it.
Athlete's name.
I mean, you see the tennis shoes I wear. I've had that pair for like 10 years.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it.
They're still fine. I put them on my feet and they take me places. And they were like $30.
I was telling you about a friend that is like a big sneakerhead, and that seems like a fucking hobby. I feel like there are a lot of hobbies that you don't approve of. Sneakerheads,
no, whatever
IPA guys.
Whatever makes you happy, go for it.
You'll just talk mountains of shit.
But just don't do it to make it appear that you're someone that you're not or better than you are.
Sure. I would say that's the thing I think both of us can lay claim to, is that like I don't think either of us try to be anything we're not. Right?
Yeah. You know, I think that's a direct result of my father. I really do.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause my dad worked his ass off and did pretty well in the grocery business, but you would never know it.
I remember he would...
He'd walk around with paint-splattered shirts.
He always inexplicably had paint all over himself. I remember once he was so... he's like, got this friend. I forgot what friend he was talking about. She never says, I'm getting in the car. She says, I'm getting in the Cadillac. I'm getting in the Cadillac. Yeah. It's like, we know you got a Cadillac. Like, he really did hate that shit.
Yeah. I mean, on the rare occasion, like every 10 years, my dad would get a new car, and he wouldn't take it to work because he didn't want anybody to know he was making enough money to get a new car.
He would purposefully try to make it seem like he didn't have money?
Take the other car, yeah.
Really? Because he didn't want to put on airs?
Yeah.
Man.
I respect the hell out of that.
No, Grandpa was amazing.
He was one of the best people I've ever known.
He really was. Yeah, he was fantastic.
Major segue here. We got to talk about Angry Cheese Lady.
Let me go. You start telling him, and I'll go grab some wood. Make a joke about penises.
We got to talk about my penis.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about your penis. Hang on. You want to set up the Angry Cheese Lady, then we'll go into your penis?
One thing I've learned in 60 years is people love hearing about my penis.
Are you here? Here. I want to be here for the penis talk. So let me, you start talking about Angry Cheese Lady. I need to go get some wood.
You're going to go get some wood?
I'm going to go get some wood. Keep talking. We're rolling.
Are you sure she's still awake?
Oh,
that was funny.
Oh.
Come on, that was funnier than that. Can I smoke a cigarette off camera?
You can smoke a cigarette on camera.
It's legal.
Just smoke.
Hi, folks. I'm yin without the yang here. But yeah, Daniel's changed a lot, but it's mostly for the good, and I give his wife credit for that. She has made him quite a bit more mature, and it's fascinating to watch him with her because he's the most loving, attentive husband I've ever seen, and it's not even the honeymoon period anymore. They've been married quite a while, and they're both genuinely really sweet to each other, and it's simultaneously nice and disgusting to see. But I know I never had that type of relationship, but that was totally me. I was way too selfish. But this cannot turn into a therapy session. Anyway, I was saying nice things about you.
Oh my God.
They were all lies.
You can't do that on the internet.
They were all lies, but I was saying them.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, do you talk about the cheese lady?
Nah, I want to talk about my penis and the cheese lady.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like a horrible children's book.
Well, it's too different. I just cut myself open.
Come on, that was funny.
Yes. I just cut myself open.
What'd you do, idiot?
I grabbed some wood and got a splinter.
That's...
Oh. And then Pinocchio had that problem.
I was trying to come up with an old wooden character.
I beat you to it.
Damn it. The Pinocchio story.
Yes. All right, talk about the cheese lady.
Also sounds like a Dylan lyric.
Let's hear it.
Grabbing some wood. Got a splinter. Just like old Pinocchio.
Tell them about cheese lady.
Cheese lady. I had a vendor at the at Fenway Park yell at me. And none of it was my fault, of course. You go ahead. I'm going to smoke.
Okay. Turns out I'm learning now about all the recording length of all my cameras. They're all turning off. So,
Did they shut up by themselves?
Yeah, I guess there's maximum recording times for some of these. But anyway, we're at Fenway, and we go up to get a couple of big hot dogs. And the lady's like, I said, I want a cup of cheese with my hot dog. And she felt the cheese cups and said, they're all cold. But I can squirt some hot stuff on it for you. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. And so she squirts the hot stuff out of the Tostitos machine onto it. And then she says to Dad, okay, that'll be $18. Do you want a tip? And he goes, no. And she goes, really? I gave you free cheese? Because it was supposed to be $3, but since you did the spray, there was no charge. And so
I wasn't aware of all that.
Right. She goes, I gave you free cheese and you're not going to tip me? And you kept saying Boston people were no nonsense. Like, they'll tell you what they think. And he was like, oh, and you pull out your wallet and all you had was $100 and a $20. And you're like, oh, I'll tip you. And she's like, I can't take that. It's cashless. And so it was just a very awkward end to that conversation.
Well, first of all, and I think most people agree with me on this, yeah, it's not a price-based thing. It's a location-based thing. You don't tip at the ballpark when you're buying a hot dog and a soda or a beer.
I will frequently do $1 on... I don't know. Usually when there's like a tip thing, I'll usually at least do $1 unless it's like an actual like service thing. Then I'll always do 20 plus.
But they're already screwing, and it's not the worker.
I know. I understand that.
It's not the worker doing that. It's the higher ups.
That's
But
the thing. I go to a lot of like wrestling things, and I'll get a beer, and it's like $14 for beer, and it's like what the fuck. But I figure at that point, $1 more is not going to kill me.
Yeah, it'll kill me.
So your penis. Tell the folks about your penis.
Oh, the tales I could tell.
What's the worst day your penis ever had?
About a month ago.
You're talking like Quint from Jaws.
It was a cloudy morning.
Okay.
My penis was angry.
Quit talking like that and just tell the story.
It was an angry penis day, my friends. No, I had gone to the gym. I usually go really super early because I get up early. And I'm getting really tired, by the way.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. And so anyway, I went to the gym, and I left the gym, and like always, when I go there, I feel good after I'm done about myself. Mm-hmm. Which is like twice a month occurrence. So I was riding a wave, and I thought, well, I'm out. It's breakfast time. I might as well make some money. Mm-hmm. So I flip on just Eats. I don't know if for the people that don't know, you can, as a driver, you can specify whether you want to do rides, eats, both,
sure, or
none. I usually choose none. Mm. I only drive when I'm in the mood to deal with people, so I never drive. So I did Eats, and I got this order from Walmart, and it was for 2 orders. And I had never picked up from Walmart before, so I didn't quite know how it worked. But anyway, there's a special zone you park in, and then you notify them that you're there, and they bring the order out to you, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm waiting, and I don't know burp. Sorry. I can't burp. Do you know that about me?
It's weird. You're like the opposite of Kayla with that stuff.
Oh my god. She burps enough for both of us.
You've seen the on command thing?
Oh my god.
It's incredible, right?
It's so loud.
Yeah. It's very impressive.
Anyway, so I'm waiting, and as I'm waiting, my middle-aged bladder is barking at me, and I'm realizing I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom pretty soon. And with me, it goes from that to red alert pretty quickly. And my first thought was, Paul, just go into Walmart, pee, get over with, and you can relax. But then I thought, no, if I do that, the guy's going to come out with the stuff, and it's going to cause a huge problem. I'm going to have to make phone calls and text messages, and everything's going to be delayed. And I said, I'll just write it out. I'll get these orders. I'll find a bathroom, right? Mm-hmm. And fortunately, it wasn't food. Like, there's a time crunch. Like, something doesn't get cold. It's just groceries.
Sure.
So the guy finally comes out. I get it taken care of. P is up to code level 3.
Okay. This is the old terror alert system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. My bladder was at orange.
Yeah. This is what Ashcroft's been doing. He's probably dead.
Who?
Remember, wasn't it Ashcroft? Ashcraft that did the terror alert system?
John Ashcroft?
I was going to say that's what he's done since he's retired, working on your bladder alert. He's probably dead, though.
He's in a bunker somewhere. So anyway, and ironically, not ironically, it's the wrong choice of words, but amusingly, one of the orders was for an ex-girlfriend, which I thought was really funny. But anyway, so my initial plan was foiled because when I got the directions for the first one, there was no gas station, convenience store, nothing in sight, nowhere where I could use a restroom. So then I thought plan B is, okay, drop this on their porch, then I'll find a bathroom, then I'll go to the second one.
Sure.
So I dropped the first one off on the porch. I start heading towards the second one. Bladder's up to code red. I realize I'm not going to make it.
Right. And this is a frequent occurrence.
In the mornings it is, because
Okay.
I drink a lot of liquids in the morning.
Sure. Water.
And Mountain Dew. So, I happen to be in a pretty upscale neighborhood, kind of place where you don't just whip out the wang.
What neighborhood is okay for whipping out the way?
Yeah, it's a good point.
I think it's frowned upon in most neighborhoods.
Let's just say it would be frowned upon more.
Okay, got it. The frown would be harder. More downturned.
And the frown would be accompanied by a call to 911.
Yes.
So I have to stop. I have to go. And so I positioned my car in a way so that I wouldn't be facing like the front of a house or a playground full of kids.
Sure.
Because the last thing I want to do is be on the sexual offender list.
Yes.
Now this is where part 2 of the story comes in. From
The
my
thrilling middle act.
the saga.
Yeah, this is the Empire Strikes Back of your saga.
A phallic adventure.
Uh-huh.
From my days as a mailman, I learned that it's always good to have something to pee into.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
And
Toilets, ideally.
and as a driver.
Yeah.
I mean, emergencies.
Right.
So I always have like a Pringles can or any kind of cylindrical container that you can do your stuff in.
Sure.
Number one, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you've never shit into something, right?
No.
Right.
I had a joke there. I'm going to let that one go.
Oh.
I'd whisper it to you, but they'd hear that too.
Okay. I can mute it. Have you ever shit into something? Go ahead. Oh my God.
That's why I didn't say it on camera.
Go on.
Church. Anyway.
No, you can't. We got to get back to that. But go on. I'm not going to interrupt you. Go ahead. God, I hate that.
I know. That's why I do it. So I had at some point, it was a cylindrical container, and I think it was one of those things that contain like disinfectant wipes.
Oh yeah, like a Clorox single wipe thing. Yeah, I love those.
You pull it out of the top.
Yeah, they're great.
But I had, taken the top off it. The dispensing thing, foil thing wasn't on it.
Sure.
Right. So I just had the empty canister for this reason. So I suddenly get back in my driver's seat, and I start to do my business in this thing. Urinate. And the second I started, just horrible burning sensation, you know where.
Was there any kind of nick or graze happening with the hole as you went in?
Well, there had to have been.
But you didn't notice it at the time.
Well, I noticed pain immediately, so.
Oh, but you still went through it.
Because I had to go so bad that the second I knew it was safe to go,
Okay.
I started going. So it would have been simultaneous.
Okay, I see.
So just this horrendous pain, like on fire pain. So I just got out enough to where I knew I could. I didn't obviously go the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just did enough so I could complete the next delivery. Which, if they knew what was going on, oh my God, how thrilled would you be?
Thrilled.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
So I get just a little bit of pee in the thing, and then I put the stupid thing, tried to put it in my cup holder, and it was too wide. It wouldn't fit in the cup holder. So I had to hold it up against the other seat with one hand to make sure it didn't spill, because that would be nightmare part 2.
Of course.
So I'm driving with one hand. I go do delivery. I rush to the gas station to finish the rest of the pee. I go into the thing, and I'm peeing, and I see blood. And it hurt like
a lot, or
that's the weird thing about it. It was just the initial burst was blood.
Yeah.
And the rest was urine, but it was horribly painful. The rest.
You just don't want blood around that area, really.
No, and it was the whole process was painful.
Oh,
it was bad. So of course I turned off the driver app. I'm clearly not going to be driving the rest of the day. So
Which, by the way, I love the irony that you at first would not even order Uber Eats or DoorDash when it came around.
Yeah.
Because you thought, oh, they're going to just hire anyone. The guy's going to be putting his penis on my pizza. And I'm like, meanwhile, here you are having a whole penis saga while delivering food.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go home, and for the rest of the day, it was the same thing the rest of that day. Blood and pain. And then starting the next day, well, here's the funny part, is I didn't say this, but when I went to the gas station, they were doing some construction work or something, so they had one of those temporary dumpsters outside for construction stuff. Yeah. Obviously, I wanted to get the urine thing out of there so bad. So I threw the whole thing in this dumpster, and I realized later, I said, because I really wanted to know what the hell was on that thing that cut me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go rooting through the dumpster, and I remember calling you and telling you everything, and we imagine this. I'll wait till you're done.
Just go ahead.
We imagine this scenario where I'm rooting through the dumpster and the construction guys come up and I say, "Oh, don't mind me. I'm just looking for my special pee cup."
I also love the idea of you showing up later to rifle through the evidence like you're looking for like a killer. You're just trying to find the cup that wronged your penis. Jesus Christ. So you called me with like great concern. You're like, this is probably going to be funny at some point. We'll probably talk about it at some point on a thing. But right now, it's my penis.
Well, I remember the way I set it up for you. I said I hurt my dick while eating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have said the company name.
You want me to beep it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please do.
Sure, yeah.
So the way this story ends...
Hey, Siri, remind me, beep. Okay.
So for like 2 or 3 days, same thing, blood at first, and then pain, and then it was really weird. The blood went away. I've never been scared to pee in my life, let alone the other thing.
Wait, what now? I'm trying to understand what. Wait, let alone the other thing. Ever been scared to pee? Oh, masturbate. Is that what you're? Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, go on. I'm sorry. Yes.
Wanking the weasel.
Wanking the weasel. That's what you say.
That was off the books for a while. Clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's tragic.
So after a day or two, it would be painful, and it was painful during the pee part and shortly after. Then it only hurt after. And I looked down there.
The penis.
And it was raw. It was
redness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not a happy penis.
So what is your assumption about exactly what happened?
I think I cut it, the underside of it.
On a little.
I think, you know how sometimes like you get a jar of it wasn't peanut butter, but say like a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah, there's just the thing you got to peel off.
The foil
seal.
thing. The foil thing. And sometimes when you peel it off, it doesn't come off clean. Yeah. And there's like little shards of the plastic or whatever, the foil.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. That there was and
it was just in the haste of needing to pee.
No, I didn't tear it off then. It was all ready to pee into.
No, but in the haste of needing to pee, you just did not feel the nick, and that's what happened.
Well, I think I felt it immediately because I put it in and peed instantly.
Right. Jesus.
But I think there was a little tear strip left on that thing from when I'd taken off whenever. And, I mean, it was pretty clear that something like that had happened. And eventually I did go to the doctor. And I have a female doctor, so that's fun. And, she just kind of agreed that what happened.
You gave her the real story?
Oh yeah, we have a good relationship.
You can talk about your pee cup with your doctor. That's good. That's important with doctors.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah.
It's almost like visiting a friend. It's hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
A friend that you checks out your penis and makes sure it's okay.
Well, that's all my friends.
Oh.
And what I thought would happen happened. It didn't heal for a while. It took a full 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how when I told you the scenario about I hurt my penis while ride sharing,
Yes.
that you assumed I'd gotten in some sexual thing with somebody. Like I'm that stupid.
I've had some frantic calls. I'll leave it at that.
But anyway,
Yes.
I actually told my sisters that on Easter Sunday.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Just like the famous skid mark conversation on Thanksgiving dinner. We don't have to retread.
So anyway, that's the penis story.
It's a good penis story. The penis is okay now, though?
Oh yeah.
Better than ever.
Oh yeah. He's back in the game, baby.
He. What's his name?
Tiny Elvis.
His name is Tiny Elvis?
No.
I don't know if you want to name your penis Tiny.
He's a sad, lonely old thing.
He.
He doesn't have reason to get angry much anymore.
Angry. I don't think a penis gets angry.
We should talk about my theory on when sex becomes gross and weird and stupid.
Sure. Yeah, all right. Here's your scientific theory.
I've assigned a year to when an age when sex is just stop.
Stop having sex?
Yeah,
Why?
because it's weird and gross and sloppy and stupid.
What's the age?
52.
How many times have you had sex since the age of 52?
My share.
Your share? Was it gross and weird and you should stop?
For them, probably.
For you?
Oh, this is not the same. You don't have the energy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Still a nice. Here's the thing. You're not a married man. You're not in a relationship. I believe it's not just the carnal. You know, it's a love thing.
You just reach a point where you want to eat a cookie and sit in the chair. That's
And it's 52. Sorry, honey. It's been a good run.
where it starts.
I'm gonna eat this cookie and sit in a chair.
And let's be honest. I mean, attractiveness on both sides fades. Your
That's
body's
subjective.
Your bodies change.
Well, yeah, of
It's
course.
just the thought
It's aging.
The thought of two old people with stretch marks and bellies and
It's the human condition. We're all
And-
destined for it,
and
right?
this flappy stuff and this stuff.
It's not a disqualification
you
for
don't
beauty.
you don't need to be flapping that shit around. Just stop it.
They should have sent a poet.
You had a good 30-year run. Just live off that.
Stop having sex. Or would you make it illegal to have sex over 52?
Yeah.
I'd love to see President Paul. What would if you ran, so 2024, what are the key things you're running on? Well, I mean, not serious shit. Like Paul stuff.
No more helmets in dugouts after you hit a home run. That's a big one for me.
Okay, that's an important one. That's number one?
It's not even helmets. It's stupid comic book bullshit.
That's number one?
No.
Okay,
I mean, you give me time and I'll come up with a list of 100 things.
sure. What's illegal in your first year?
Illegal?
What is newly illegal in your first year in office?
Ear gauges.
Why?
There's just no reason for it.
Illegal. What's the sentence?
You have your ears chopped off.
You have your ears chopped off if you have a gauge?
Yeah, well, I had a line there, but I'm not going to say that either.
Oh, God. Huh. All right. So that's illegal. What else?
Remember I've learned from Mark Maron about being a boomer, a woke boomer? He nailed
being a woke. Nothing sounds older than saying, I'm a woke boomer.
he nailed what it's like to be our age and to be a fairly liberal person.
Sure.
You know, you're 80. What he did was he described himself as being 85% woke,
Sure.
and the other 15% maybe just don't say that stuff.
Sure.
And that really hit me because that's kind of how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ear gauges. Fair game.
I mean, what's the point of that? It looks
What's the point of anything?
insane. It fucks your ear up. People are gonna make judgments on you about it. You're not gonna get a goddamn job.
You were talking like you were running a grocery store in
Less-
1950.
less at Hot-
You're not going to get a job if you have an ear gauge?
Maybe at Hot Topic or something.
Oh, my God. Feel that way about tattoos?
No.
Okay, tattoos are fair game. Ear gauges,
In fact,
never going to get a job.
In fact, on never mind. That was 15% I keep to myself.
I know a lot of people with ear gauges that have very good jobs.
Who?
You know how many people in the video game industry have ear gauges?
I was going to say, not in the real world, you don't.
You don't think there are people in the real world that have ear gauges and good jobs?
Not making more than $20 an hour.
No one makes more than $20 an hour if they have an ear gauge.
Maybe in like a high-end Boston or New York coffee shop.
What? All right, so if you're in a Boston or New York coffee shop.
Because the price of coffee's so high.
Because I see. And I think they get a cut of that. Yeah. Come sit down. Sit down.
No, the tips would be higher.
Oh, the tips. Okay. Yeah, come sit down and tell the folks about your cool new thing you say.
Ah! Wow, look at the sky.
It's a good moon.
What are the odds of me not drunkenly tripping over these wires?
That's why I tell you to go around this.
Wires and steps. This is a drunk middle-aged guy's night.
And fire.
And fire. Steps, wires, and fire.
That's right. Tell the folks about your cool new thing you say.
Well, it's all tongue-in-cheek.
It's maybe tongue-in-cheek origins, but you do keep doing it.
Only around you, and I do it just because I know I'd get the reaction I did. Same reason you do all the shit to me.
All right, tell them.
Spoiler alert, can I assume most people have seen Breaking Bad?
Well, yes, but also...
Well, I won't ruin it.
This is not a spoiler, yes.
It's not a plot thing.
No.
There's a character named Skinny Pete in Breaking Bad, and they're the young, street drug peddling guys, so they're hip to the street. Just like Huggy Bear.
Jesus. You keep aging with everything you say.
Did you know who Huggy Bear was?
Starsky and Hutch?
Yes!
Yeah, okay, yeah.
He was the coolest guy around.
Sure, yeah.
That man knew the street.
Okay, go on.
So, Skinny Pete was the Huggy Bear of 2013, right?
Sure.
So when I was rewatching Breaking Bad for the 5th time, which is amazing that I've done that, but if you know me, which you clearly don't, they knew all the hip new phrases. So
it's written by Vince Gilligan, who's like a 50-something-year-old dude.
So whenever anyone would say something that Skinny Pete agreed with, and part of it was the body language too.
The folks can see you.
Where? Which camera?
Wait, hit him over here.
Like, tell me. Just say it's a really nice night.
Yeah, it's a really nice night tonight.
Church. That's my thing. And so the last time I was watching that, I thought Dan will hate this. So I put it in my boomer pocket, and I've been saying it a lot on this trip, and he's hated it a lot every time. So mission accomplished, everybody.
Nice. Yes. I want to go back to this ear gauge thing because I think it's hilarious that you think nobody can get a job if they have that. What else is in that category?
Not in the real world.
What is the real world?
And video game industry is not a real world.
It's a very weird. I get it. Okay, but you don't think somebody could get
a grocery store, a post office?
You don't think anyone can get a job at a grocery store with ear gauges?
They'd get a minimum wage job.
You don't think they could move up and become a? You don't think there's any managers? I've had managers at movie theaters that have ear gauges. In Kansas.
Any job that God, I'm gonna get so much hate mail for this.
Hate mail.
I know I'm old. Shut up.
You're really good at grabbing a shovel when you're already in a hole.
Any industry that's geared towards a younger employee base, that's going to happen. Like movie theaters generally are younger people.
Okay. You don't think there's insurance agents that have ear gauges?
No.
You don't think there are any insurance agents?
Challenge. Find me one.
You don't think there are any insurance agents that have ear gauges?
I doubt it.
Oh, boy. Okay. About car salesmen, do they count?
No, because those guys are kind of renegades.
Renegade. Okay. What are real jobs? What count as real jobs in
post office, grocery stores?
You never saw anyone at the post office with ear gauges?
Minimum wage.
Okay.
Nobody in positions management or anything.
Okay. Extremely exists because that was the thing that started like becoming a thing. Like,
find me one. Just find me one and get back with me,
folks. If anyone wants to link in the comments,
I'll hit you with my digits. And you can let me know about this.
What else is in the category of like ear gauges that's like an instant DQ, illegal, never gonna get a job?
Oh, Well, this one might get me killed.
Oh, good.
I'll whisper it and you tell me if I can say it.
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
You keep broadcasting where I live. This is not good.
The place you've said it a million times. Anyway, don't say it. It's not that bad.
Any tattoo above the collarbone.
I got a friend with a big fucking tattoo on his neck, and he makes millions of dollars a year.
Legally?
Legally? Oh, yeah.
I have no problem with tattoos. I think tattoos are great. I think they're going to regret it in like 40 years, but...
Why?
Because they look weird after... Did you ever see the old like World War II guys that had the...
Yeah, my father-in-law has one, and it's fucking awesome. It's like a little fucking like...
But as your skin gets old and it gets all crinkly and weird...
Sure, but you think
all these sexy little unicorns and rainbows and dolphins and stuff are going to look really stupid.
You don't think the old like sailor, like mom tattoos are cool? Or like...
Not when you're 70.
My father-in-law is 70-something, and his tattoo's cool.
Well, he had a good artist then.
Okay, so tattoos above the collarbone, you're not getting a job?
You're cornering me into a corner.
With your own opinions.
With all these things that everybody's going to hate me for.
They're your actual opinions. I'm not This is gotcha journalism here on the deck.
I'm just a crabby old man, I know.
I've always, I don't know if admired is the word, but I've always been fascinated by your confidence with some of these opinions. Namely, we talked about it on the new one that I'm fascinated with, and we talked about it a bit on a stream we just did, is your opinion, sighing at your own opinions. You said with the utmost just conviction, soccer is not a sport, it's an activity. And there was a follow-up tonight on the stream that I loved. I asked you what boxing was, and if boxing was a sport, and you thought about it, and you said, no, boxing isn't a sport. Boxing is a challenge, which is such a weird way to put that.
Well, and I threw something in after that, is anything that's a one-on-one thing cannot be a sport.
There's no one-on-one sports? Fencing is not a sport?
No! It's a skill.
Ping pong?
It's a skill.
Okay. Okay, so name the sports.
There's 3 that I officially in my brain
You get the stamp.
Baseball, basketball, football.
Baseball, basketball, football. Okay, hockey. Is hockey a sport?
Hockey's borderline.
Hockey is a borderline sport. Okay. Tennis?
No, one-on-one.
There's also doubles tennis, but is doubles tennis a sport?
No, it's the same. It's a variation of the same activity.
So tennis is an activity.
Yeah.
What?
And it takes tremendous talent to do it.
Sure.
I'm not discounting that.
Sure, okay. What are the parameters for sport?
We've been through this.
No, but not on this.
Oh, it's a different stupid thing? See, how can I bury myself on this one?
With your actual opinions. I would know. I just want to talk it through. What makes a sport?
Plenty of offense.
Define offense.
Points.
Points on the board. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Where soccer is like the ultimate example of, and related to that, you cannot have something end in a tie. And although I accept football as being a sport, in the regular season they do have ties, which I've always thought was stupid.
But football is a sport.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But they should change that. There should never be a tie in football.
Okay, but so all right, so we gotta. Okay. There's enough offense. There's enough offense in baseball for it to be a sport.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but not soccer and not hockey. Hockey's borderline. What about tennis? There's lots of. Does tennis not have offense?
Yeah, but they call it love instead of zero.
It's not offense because they call it a different thing?
That's just stupid.
Well, so far, I don't see tennis being disqualified here.
Let's get back to the other thing.
Okay, what else does sports? What else is a sport?
The clock has to move forward if there's a clock.
Wait, so does there have to be a clock?
There didn't used to have to be in baseball, but now there kind of is.
And there is clocks in football. There is clocks in basketball.
With the caveat, baseball has a clock now, but it's
the pitching clock.
It's timing individual instances. The overall length of the game has no time.
Got it. Okay, whereas football does, and it's a wacky clock.
Yeah. Now soccer has double trouble in this regard because the clock goes backwards. That's one factor alone. Soccer, you let yourself get in the head with the ball. It's really dumb, and you can't use your hands. That's a big one too.
Because you can't use your hands in baseball, football. So the ones that are officially sports,
it's got
baseball, basketball, football, you can use your hands.
And there has to be a ball.
And okay, football is a ball. Okay, well, soccer has a ball, tennis has a ball.
Right.
So I'm still not saying
But
we're
they're
tennis.
disqualified for the other reasons.
Tennis is disqualified because it's love.
One-on-one.
It's one. But what about doubles tennis? I'm still not seeing why doubles tennis is.
It doesn't count because the core root of the game is the one-on-one. It's just an extension of that, and it's the same stupid thing. Just work with me here.
I am trying to just piece the logic together here. Okay. Other parameters for sport.
There's several. The time clock, the offense. What was the other? Oh, the ball. There was something else. Oh, it has to be a team thing. There has to be more than one-on-one.
Okay. Why?
Because that's one of the things that makes a sport.
Who decided that?
Me.
Okay. All right. We got there. Okay. Just trying to think of you said, darts aren't a sport. Pool.
No, darts is definitely an activity.
So pool is one-on-one, so pool isn't a sport to you.
Has lots of balls.
Yeah, and you love pool.
I love pool. I used to.
Okay. All right, so there's 3 sports and
remember anything you're drinking at, anything you can drink at and it's not a problem while you're doing it is not a sport.
Okay, so that disqualifies pool, bowling, darts.
Anything you can do in a bar is not a sport.
Okay. I mean, there's Pop-A-Shot, but that's not traditional basketball.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
And that's not even one-on-one. That's 1-on-0.
That's true. That's you against yourself. Okay. I think tennis is the biggest one where I think you're stretching.
I have a ton of respect.
Also soccer, which is objectively the biggest sport on the planet. Do you at least concede to reality that soccer is immensely more popular than baseball?
Everywhere but here.
It's probably getting close here. Okay, do you think in 10 years soccer will be more popular than baseball?
What's the criteria?
Viewers?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to how many viewers something has.
What do you consider to be the barometer for popularity?
I don't know. How entrenched it is in the American moral fiber.
I'll tell you, I got a lot more people I know that look, and I don't want to be soccer defender here. I've watched like 2 soccer games in my life. I've been bored out of my mind both times. I'm just trying to figure out the logic here. Like, I know a ton of people that are really into soccer. Yeah. I know like 3 people that are really into baseball.
Well, that's a generational thing.
Well, don't you think that's
baseball is not popular with the younger people?
Don't you think that's troubling for its future?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so you think can you see a world in the future where baseball is kind of not a big thing in America?
I can't see a time where it will not exist, but
sure.
Its popularity has been waning for a long time.
Do you see a time when baseball is not as commonly on TV and stuff as it is now, and soccer is a big thing on TV in America?
No, nobody's gonna watch soccer on TV.
No one's gonna watch soccer on TV.
Some people will because it's an event.
Have you seen the ratings for the World Cup and stuff?
Yeah, but that's like your mom and the Chiefs. She doesn't give a shit about the Chiefs.
Do you know soccer fans?
Huh?
Do you know soccer fans?
I knew one.
What makes you think it's like a fake fandom? People I know that are into soccer are extremely fucking into soccer.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah. Well, you just did. You just said that you thought it was like a fake fandom.
It's more of an event to go to.
What does that mean?
It means they're not actively interested in the sport itself. It's an event to be at.
So people going to soccer games aren't into the sport?
A lot of them are. But not everybody in the stadium.
Here's my biggest question. What are you basing any of this on?
My life's experience. What I base anything on. I could be wrong.
It's possible. It is possible. Yes.
Reminds me of that line from the Eagles song. I could be wrong, but I'm not.
I'm going to go ahead and say you're wrong on this one, but to each their own.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. I'll be dead in 20 years. It doesn't matter.
What's 80-year-old look like?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. It's going to be something. I'm going to share this depressing thought I had a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I think I told you.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
This one hit me. Because I've been turning 60 is the first birthday that's ever bothered me anyway. But I thought of this recently. There's a young player in the Royals named Bobby Witt Jr., who I'm really excited about. He's phenomenal talent. But he's like 21, 22 years old. And I was thinking, man, if this kid does well and stays healthy, he could make the Hall of Fame. And it hit me. Oh, shit. If he makes the Hall of Fame, I probably won't be here to see it. And that really hit me hard. A thought like that has never hit me before.
Yeah, it's sobering. Wow. Definitely.
Wow.
I mean, that stuff only happens like more and more as you get old. Like, I know I'm just shy of 40, but like I'm starting to have that stuff where it's just like, oh, fuck. Like,
that one slapped me across the face.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I remember mine was that I remember like being a wrestling fan like in the '90s, and I remember watching like this guy Edge come up, and he was this young hot talent that like it's like, oh man, this kid's gonna be major potential here, and I just remember being an old enough fan to like, oh man, very excited about this like new prospect, And I've seen his entire career. I've seen him get forced into retirement. I've seen him kind of come back, and now he's talking about like, yeah, I've probably got maybe another year, another two that I can compete at this level or whatever. And to think of like, oh, I'm old enough to have like remembered when he was this like 20-something newcomer and seen this whole thing, and like then he's gonna have to retire. Like, oh man, it's like that makes me feel old.
Yeah. Well, there was an evolution for me in terms of baseball. I first started noticing when baseball players were getting younger than me. I was like, whoa! And then managers started getting younger than me, and now there are a few owners younger than me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man!
I remember you back when the first players were getting younger than you, telling me about it, and I never felt it until Xavier Woods, when I started to hang out with him, and then I realized that like, oh shit, he's like 2 or 3 years younger than me, and it's like, oh god damn.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of hate when things are just kind of taken off the table, where it's like, I hate ever hearing that I can't do something, where it's like, even if right now, if I dropped everything and dedicated my entire life, like just fucking got personal trainers, did all this, like for some reason if I decided I wanted to become an NBA player, and I dedicated my entire life to it, there's no chance in hell that's a possibility. Like I just hate the idea of like just seeing all the possibilities for your life, because I was always someone that thought like you can do anything, just work hard and you can be anything, and just seeing like scratch that off.
Yeah.
It's mostly like physical stuff, but it's like that's frustrating to me.
And that snowballs after a while.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
My friend's mom has a picture of me when I was little, like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And it's really sweet. It's because she thinks highly of me, and I feel the same way for her. But there's a picture of me and tucked in her little cupboard in her kitchen, and she sent me a picture of it the other day, and I said, "Yep, back when I had hopes and dreams." And this is not an original thought, but I thought it was at the time. Maybe it's not, but some people have when you get older, instead of a bucket list, you have a fuck it list. It's the list of things that aren't going to happen.
That you've just written off.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of what you were talking about.
Here's a fun one. Is getting married on your fuck it list?
Oh no.
No, is it on your fuck it list of things that aren't going to happen?
Getting married again?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
I don't see myself ever going on a date again.
Sure. I've heard you at times, like, what I assumed was joking, like, oh, here's your next stepmom.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know. So I didn't know if that was any part of that. Like, is there any chance you're ever married again?
Honestly, I don't see myself ever dating again.
Any desire at all?
Oh, no.
Is there any scenario in which?
There's a scenario, but it's never going to happen.
Sure.
Somebody who's extremely...
Oh, well, your whole theory on Gina Gershon, of course.
Well, but that's a whole different thing. We can get into that.
He has aspirations of dating Gina Gershon. Gina, if you're watching...
We can get into that if you want to.
Feel free.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, go into it. In case Gina's watching, yes.
No, the thing was... Where was I going with this? Oh! Any scenario where you see that happening is what you said, or something like that.
In which you'd get married. Like,
yeah.
What is it? Yeah.
I mean, if it's like the old George Costanza thing where he found that woman who he was reading her profile or something and said physical attractiveness not important.
Wasn't it Versa Tomei?
It might have been. I don't remember exactly, but...
Or if you like stocky guys.
But if I get somebody that I was incredibly attracted to and was really smart and really funny, and who didn't give a shit that I'm rapidly aging and not an ideal weight and losing my hair and all the shit that happens when you get older, but she's like me because whatever reason, she's like baseball cards. What was the old joke? Oh, it was Carlin. Said he was looking for a nymphomaniac coke dealer who owned a car dealership. That's what he was looking for.
Very specific.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, and I'm totally okay with that.
Sure.
I had a run and I had my shot, and I'm horrible at relationships. I realize that now.
Sure.
I'm not happy in them. I'm not good at them.
Oh, I can't see current you. There's no. As someone who just traveled with you for a couple days, I cannot imagine you living with someone ever again.
No, I'm way too entrenched in my ways now.
Mm.
I mean, I always was, but I would try before,
Sure.
but I won't even try now.
Yeah.
And anything that makes me get out of my habits or my routine.
House.
Anybody makes me, or my house. Anybody that makes me get out of my routine, or not anybody, but anything, I kick at it like a mule.
Oh, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we talk about something that doesn't make me look like an asshole?
I'm not calling you an asshole. Picking your brain.
I am.
You're calling you an asshole.
I don't think I'm an asshole. I think I'm opinionated and stubborn.
Sure. Fair. Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
I'd talk about anything with you.
Sure.
I love talking to you.
I love talking to you. It's great.
You're an interesting guy.
Tell you what. Do you wanna wrap up this part here, and I'll bring the cameras in, and we can just hang out?
No.
No, you want to keep the okay? I thought you were trying to wind down.
I rarely have a chance to talk like this.
Sure.
And you know, this happens to me. It's happened to me recently, but you know, I've got a couple friends that I have dinner with. You know, it used to be every couple months, but it's with COVID and everything, it's been whacked. But church.
Fuck.
I find that I'm so seldomly, is that a word?
So seldomly, yeah.
Around people that when I am, there's so many things that I realize I haven't talked about in a while.
Oh, sure.
That I tend to, I feel like I talk way too much and dominate conversation.
Never really thought that.
And I've gone out to dinner, you know these friends, I've gone out to dinner with them and texted them afterwards and said, hey, I'm really sorry if I talked way too much.
Oh, yeah.
But I went out to a birthday dinner with my daughter last Saturday night, and I had that same sensation. Because it was really fun, it was really nice, but I felt like I was just...
You seem very up in your own head about what people, like... You were telling me on this trip that, like, your greatest fear is looking stupid.
Yeah.
And, like, I think you get very up in your own head about, like, oh, God, did I do this too much? Did I do that too much? I think you're...
This doesn't have anything to do with being feeling stupid.
No, I'm just saying, I think you were up in your head about how other people view you.
And I don't even really care how other people view me anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were just saying about, like, oh, was I talking too much? Was I doing this? Like, yeah, I think you do that a lot.
Yeah, I think that's changed a lot because there was a time when there's no way I would go like to the grocery store or the post office in my slippers and my hair.
Oh, sure.
And my hair all fucked up.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Oh, I know.
Anymore. Because you know, when you're younger, you never know when you're gonna meet somebody. You know, or strike up a conversation.
Sure.
And when you're young and you have dreams, you think, you never know, you might meet somebody on a park bench or something. And
Well, it's not always like a meeting somebody thing, you know? Are you just talking about, like, pride in appearances or worrying about what people think of you? Or what do you think?
And if you met somebody you're interested in, you want to look your best, but...
But what do you think about, like, when somebody's married? Like, do you think, like... Like, do you think people shed that when they get married? Because you don't want to, you know... You're talking about meeting someone, you know, like...
To a degree, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh. Do you think people just give up on other things when they get married, or well, I mean, that's how you always viewed marriage, was that you have to give up all the things you love and not be interested in things.
And that wasn't necessarily the way everybody did it, but that's the way I did it. But I mean, your attitudes about a lot of things change as you age in general, whether you're married or not.
Oh, yeah.
This has been funny so far.
Don't think I tagged it as comedy. It's just gonna be a chat.
Can I fart on camera?
Please give it a good fart.
I got one brewing.
Yeah, here, I'm gonna go pee. You fart.
Oh, I got P2. That's gonna look weird.
Well, no. You just sit here and fart.
Now, let me, for the record, state that. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Keep talking.
Dan's super weird about. He's a homeowner now, which I will respect that he likes his place to be nice, and it is nice. But just last night or the night before, I brought up the idea of maybe peeing in the yard instead of going all the way in the house.
And I said go for it.
Well, not at first.
What did I say?
The married chip in your brain kicked in at first. So said.
Did I say no?
I said it's night. No, you eventually said yes, but your first instinct was to hesitate, and you know that's true.
I thought about it for a second. I said go for it.
Oh, that was so kind of you.
So also, why does being married have anything to do with it?
Because you would never have done that if you weren't married.
But I was also fucking 29 last time I wasn't married.
I've seen you pee off of my deck.
How old was I?
32.
No, that's not true.
No, 28, because it was your 10-year reunion.
Right, like I said, I've been married since I was 30.
28's not 16.
I don't know. I was still very much a raging dumbass at 28. Absolutely.
But yeah, eventually you kicked in and you were like, yeah, of course, like most guys would say, piss right here if you want to.
It's not getting married that changed that. It's like if I was single and had a house, I would probably still think for a second about like,
No, you
is it okay for him to pee there?
No,
like,
you wouldn't. If you'd stayed single and bought a house,
yeah,
you wouldn't.
I'd just say pee all over it.
You would have.
I just see it just piss all over my living room.
It would have been way different.
Okay. I love this idea that any change that's happened with me has happened because I got married.
Most of them, and most of them are good.
Oh, I would think I'm a much better person since I got
do
married.
too.
But like, you also think that like, oh, you would have been cool with this before. If your little marriage ship happened. I hear that so much.
I have never once done this with my arms.
Okay, but you did several times today. Say, oh, the marriage chip in your brain made you do this. Did you not? Am I making that up?
You've changed a lot, and
Yes!
95% of it's for the better.
Okay. All right. But you, again, like the toilet seat saga, it's, you know.
No, I'm so right about that.
For those not in the know, the short version is, apparently I picked up a habit since I got married, where after I pee, I put the toilet seat down.
Both of them.
Okay, the top lid and the horseshoe lid. And never realized I did that. It's never a thing Bianca and I ever talked about. She
Never did it
told-
before.
Right. No, I believe that. I believe that I probably picked it up. I probably picked it up when I lived with Bianca in a place with one toilet.
Out of consideration for her, and I
Out
get
of consideration that, like, hey, she has to sit down on this. I'm going to always make sure it's put down.
and I respect that.
That is where it came from.
I respect that.
Do you?
I do.
Go
I do.
nuclear on me about it.
I do on your own turf.
Wait, what?
I do in your own house,
Oh, okay.
on your own turf.
It's when I'm at your place.
Yes, and you come
with your
home
non-functioning toilets.
when you come home without her,
Uh-huh.
and it's just me and you, and I really nicely ask you, like, you have things you'd like to be done here, and
Sure.
I try
Like
to,
you not throwing cigarettes in my yard.
and
Yes.
I may bitch about it, but I abide by it because it is your place.
Sure. Yes.
And you come home, and I really nicely ask you, hey, leave the lid up.
Yeah.
And shut up.
Okay.
And you don't do it. You do it every time, and I call you on it every time, and your answer is always, I don't even think about it. Well, I want you to think about it. If I came over here, okay, I'm getting fired up now.
Here we go. It's a saga.
If I came over here and just blatantly threw cigarette butts in your yard, and you called me on it, which you should,
Okay.
and I just said, I don't even think about it. Would that work for you?
I don't think it's the same thing.
It's the rules you ask for your guests to abide by, and they either do it or they don't.
I think throwing cigarettes in a yard is more egregious than putting a toilet seat down.
It's the
That
way-
said, I will say you have asked me to leave the toilet seat up, and I have forgotten.
1,000 times.
And I own up to that, and I'm sorry if that's the way you like your toilet. I apologize.
But if I threw cigarettes in your yard and I said, I don't even think about it, would you have taken that as an answer?
No, because I think we might differ on this opinion. I think it's a very different situation.
I don't. It's the wishes of the homeowner.
All right.
When you're a guest in someone's home, it's very kind of them to let you in their home. The
Yeah.
least you can do is treat things the way they want them treated.
And I have not intentionally
I know.
put the toilet seat down.
I don't think you're doing it to bug me.
No, absolutely not.
I honestly don't.
Yeah.
But if you don't think about it, maybe think about it.
I will try.
No, you won't.
It's genuinely something I've never thought about outside of you. Bonk never told me to put the toilet seat down. No one's ever talked about how I leave a toilet seat. I've never thought in that way, and it's hard. So if I've forgotten many times, I apologize.
I can remember a time when I was fortunate if you remembered to get the urine in the toilet.
Again, mid-20s.
Mid-20s, there are stockbrokers that are in mid-20s.
With gauged ears.
Jesus Christ. I've actually thought about, when I know you're coming home and staying with me, to put a note on there. Please leave the toilet lid up.
Honestly, if it bothers you that much, if you do that, it will work. That will work. So if we want to compromise there,
It's not that hard to think about.
if you just want to have a backup.
Okay, I have the perfect illustration of why I'm right.
Okay.
When I'm here, I never, ever, 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 ever put both lids down after I pee.
What do you mean?
When anywhere else.
Well, I'll say no. You should. I would request that you do. But anyway, go on.
But it's no. I'm doing exactly what you want when I'm here. Is my point.
What do you mean?
Oh, for God's sake, you're an idiot.
No, I'm listening. No, I'm saying you. It would be nice if you put the toilet seat down while
You
you're
missed the point. Shut up and listen to me.
Okay.
I never pee and then shut the toilet lids ever. But when I'm here, have you noticed when I've been here that I've never left them up?
You have. You definitely have.
No, I have not.
This one was up today. I didn't say anything because it's not a big deal.
But I've peed like 60 times since I've been here.
Okay.
So I may have missed one, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
But like 99% of the time, apparently,
Sure.
I am doing it the way you want it. I think about it
Okay.
because I know it's your house.
Well, no, here's the thing. You have a thing in your head that this is the way. It's not a way I've ever thought about. I've never told you what to do with my toilet lids while you're here because it's just not a big deal.
But I think if I left them up, I'd hear about it.
You left it up today and you didn't hear about it until now when you claimed you never leave it up. I didn't say anything to you. I just Dad's here. It's going to happen.
But it is a conscious thing with me.
Okay.
And I slept once, apparently.
Okay.
But most of the time, I am thinking about it.
All
and
right.
I'm a guest in your home, and I'm doing it the way you want it. Why can't you?
Also, it's weird. That's the thing. It's the way you want it. It's like I've literally never said anything about like do it this way or don't do it this way.
No, because I know how you want it, because I know how you do it.
You have thought about this a billion times more than me or Bianca ever have.
Oh, it makes me nuts when you're home. That's one of 80. The other one is fondling your balls for hours on end, and then
Fondling.
and then grabbing shredded cheese out of my cheese bag with your bare fucking gonad
I
hands.
think fondling implies a sexualness to it.
Your hands are down your pants all the
I
time.
look, my balls itch, and when I'm just sitting around with your dumb ass, I'm like, I don't even need
And
to
then
fucking...
you go grab cheese with your bare hands?
When has that happened? Name the last time that's happened.
Well, it hasn't, because I hide the cheese. I'm going to go make a drink.
I'm going to go grab another log. Do you want to wrap up the recording part, and then we'll just hang
No.
out here?
No.
You want to keep recording?
Yes! I got more stuff to bitch about.
All right. Do you want? I got the canned drinks here if you want one.
Do you need to go ask your wife if I can pee out here?
Yeah, just pee. Hi everyone.
Oh,
Hope you're enjoying the show.
am I out of shot yet?
Yeah, you're not in the shot.
Speaking of enjoying the show,
Uh-huh. That's right.
look at that moon.
It's a good moon. It's a good moon up there. Dad, I got ice and whiskey out here.
You do?
Yeah.
You got any of that? You know what I want?
What do you want?
Something caffeine-free like that mellow yellow sunshine bullshit.
Mellow yellow sunshine bullshit. I have those canned cocktail things.
No!
What are you talking about?
The new
Oh, Starry. Okay. I'll go grab you one.
Thank you.
You gonna stir with your finger? Is that fine?
I'll stir with my tongue.
Your tongue. All right. Here, you got to come take the seat so you can entertain the folks while I'm grabbing your mellow yellow bullshit.
Time to offer clarifications on everything that's been said about me.
Oh, feel free. Feel free.
Reminds me of an old Dennis Leary song. I'm an asshole.
Boy.
Just what's a disclaimer is the word I'm looking for. I could be wrong about some of the opinions I've expressed on this broadcast.
No, I don't think so.
The opinions I've expressed have nothing to do with the owner of this toilet lid shutting property. Wasn't his fault. These always turn into these things, don't they?
What?
Us just complaining about each other.
It's kind of how we talk. It's just joking with each other and then yelling at each other. It's still recording. Talk to the folks.
It all comes from a good place.
It does. This is the relationship.
It's always like when Rickles was giving Paul Schaefer a hard time. Schaefer said, "But it comes from love," and he goes, "No, it doesn't. I'll be honest. I never liked you." How long are you gonna be gone?
I'm grabbing it. Just give me a second. I'm fixing the cameras.
You have to go hug the dogs or something?
Yeah, I gotta go hug the dogs. Jesus Christ. I'm grabbing more logs.
By the way, Dan's dogs are idiots.
Tell 'em.
We were watching the Kentucky Derby earlier, and they were doing the pre-race stuff where the horses were walking out, and one of his idiot dogs just went crazy and went right up to the TV and was barking at the horses like he thought they were in the house or something. They're not really smart, but I will admit they're extremely cute. I don't know if any of you have ever seen his dogs, but they are kind of adorable. But they're a pain in the ass. Anywho, I can't entertain you folks at home by myself without Dan to play off of. Anyway, in all seriousness, it's been a great 4 days with Dan. He was kind enough to have me up here on a milestone birthday. That thing just did a thing.
This one over here?
Yeah, the screen went off and then it started beeping.
I think we're good.
Is it out of battery?
Nope, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Who were you talking to earlier today about how I had to wind up my phone? Oh, it was a Cameo.
Yeah, that didn't work because you have an old guy phone, ironically.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we'll get a plug in here.
Oh yeah, do it.
Dan and I are both available for Cameos. Mine are a lot cheaper. And a lot less loud.
What are you talking about?
If you like getting yelled at and if you like paying somebody to get you to yell at you, Cameo Dan.
Yeah.
If you want to get really shitty life advice from an old guy, Cameo me. And I'm a lot cheaper. I don't know how much he charges, but I think mine is $15 or 10 or something like that. But I think it's absolutely ridiculous that I have any Cameo requests at all. But I do appreciate the ones I get. I don't have that much good advice to offer. I actually had one tonight where someone was celebrating their 7th wedding anniversary, and they wanted advice from me on relationships.
Seems
bad idea.
ill-conceived.
Ill-conceived. You put way too many logs in here for how long we're gonna be out here.
I didn't know we had a limit.
I could do this for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
Can the folks at home know that we did another folks at home thing?
Well, yeah, it was a Twitch thing. They can't really watch it now. It's not live. Here's your thing.
Don't they archive those?
For 60 days.
I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Well, that's the thing that drives me nuts. There are so many things I know you would love and that you can do easily, and I know you won't do. Like, you could do anytime you want to, any night. And there's no, it's like Uber. You know how you can just Uber whenever you want to?
And I don't?
Yeah. I could set you up with your laptop to where you open up a thing, you hit go live, and you're just like, ask me questions.
I have no doubts it could happen. I just don't think that there would be enough people interested.
I mean, you literally had over 400 people watching you tonight.
But that's because of you.
Well, but they're also saying when we brought this up, there were all those people saying like, no, Paul, we're here for you. We would watch you. We would follow you. Like, I guarantee you would, like, for instance, Kayla didn't have an audience beforehand, and like, you know, she has a great Twitch audience. She's very talented. Like, you would do fine. You would do absolutely fine. I guarantee. And I would help. I would push you.
Could we do a telelink thing where you're involved in some of them?
Telelink?
I don't know.
What is a telelink?
Hook up the satellites. What happened to TV?
That's a big question.
I'm serious.
Specifically, what are you asking?
It's become so splintered.
Yeah, it's bad. It's streaming happened. People got tired of spending $120 a month.
But is it better now?
There was a time when it was good, where it was like the Netflix and Hulu, and maybe the early days of like the Amazon stuff, and it was easy enough to where it's like...
It was another option.
Yeah, like, I haven't paid for cable since 2009, 2010.
Right.
And there was a time when that was just totally fine. You know, you can see everything you want to see. Like, I'd see SNL or whatever, on Hulu the day after, like you could get all the stuff you want to get. Now, everything went so hard into that everyone had to get their piece of the pie, and now you got your Paramount Pluses, and you got your Peacocks, and you got all these different fucking Roku and Tubi and fucking a million things that no one subscribes to. And there's so many things that, like, they're trying to gobble up exclusive shows where it's like, oh, you can only watch this show on Peacock.
Right.
And so now you can't just watch everything. You got to pick and choose, like, okay, these things are important to me, so I have to subscribe to streaming service A, B, C, and D.
Right.
It's just,
well,
it's worse than, I don't know if it's worse. Cable was way too fucking expensive, but at least you got it all in one place.
Right. I have two great examples. Like a year ago when that Beatles documentary came out, I wanted to see that so bad.
It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, which I am not. I don't have.
Clearly. I don't either. Yeah.
And I've got I've got DirecTV, I've got Hulu, I've got Netflix. You'd think,
You've got pretty much all of it through me.
yeah, except DirecTV. I don't see you paying that bill.
No.
But you know, something like the Beatles thing or the Reggie Jackson documentary will come up, and it's on Splinter Vision or whatever.
I love Splinter Vision.
I'm like,
Can't get enough.
and I don't even know if I have Splinter Vision,
I don't think you do.
and so I don't get to see that shit.
I know. No, that's the thing. If you would have talked to me 5-10 years ago about the streaming future and all that stuff, it would have been like, yeah, this is the way of the future. It's so much better in cable. Now it's gotten fucked. So
I saw on the news that Netflix is, which I can't believe they hadn't done already, but they're doing away with the mail order. Like,
oh yeah, that's
when I was a mail carrier, there was a lot of those.
yeah, that's crazy. That's very antiquated now.
I'll give you another example of Dan being an idiot. Wait a minute, I need whiskey and ice. Are you good for another hour?
I'd just open a beer.
Do you have a thing to get this out with?
Just pour it in.
Pour what in?
The ice. Or just grab the ice. I don't give a shit. Grab the ice.
You don't?
Yes, you're a weirdo about that. I'm fine.
Were you eating cheese earlier?
I was mainly just grabbing my balls. I skipped the cheese.
You should just grab the cheese with your balls.
I don't think there's no opposable thumbs on my balls.
It's a sentence I never thought I'd hear.
Okay, why am I an idiot?
Well, you got 3 hours?
I only got so much battery on these cameras.
How much film you got in this thing?
Film.
Can I tell about my first bachelor party?
Sure.
You know where I'm going?
Oh yeah.
That's something that makes me sound really old. Is when I got married the first time in 1983, which was 40 years ago next month. We had a bachelor party with all my 18-year-old friends. Jesus. That sounds so stupid. My best man, we got a porno film. It was on reel-to-reel tape. They had to rent a machine and a reel-to-reel thing.
That sounds ancient.
It does. Well, you met Bob Hope.
I did. I've had a conversation with Bob Hope.
That's crazy.
That does make me feel very old.
That didn't even
And
sound,
Carl Reiner.
it doesn't even sound possible.
Yeah, I know. You were there.
I know.
You know.
I know. So where was I? We were talking about me yelling.
I'm an idiot about something.
Oh, I lost it. Damn it. Well, it shouldn't take long to think of something.
Speaking of me being an idiot, here's the thing that I realized and have thought about, and I don't have a good answer for. Why is it that you, because you brought up several times on this trip, that your biggest fear in life is looking stupid?
Right.
You've talked about, like, we had to ask people to move because they were sitting in our seats at Fenway, and you had a fucking, like, 40-minute meltdown. You've talked about your greatest fear in life is, like, your car breaking down at a red light, and you're holding up traffic. Like, your greatest fear is looking stupid.
I honestly, yeah, it triggers something in me, a reaction that I don't get any other way in life. I freak the hell out.
Well, that's not. Is there a through line? Is there a connection at all in you are terrified of it and avoid it at all costs, and I kind of run towards it. I kind of like invite, like it's not all fake or anything like that,
Not
but
always.
I run into it. You know.
Not always.
What's not always?
Jose Peppers.
Oh, the dance?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I'm an idiot. Don't get me wrong, but like I definitely push further into it, and I like anytime I have a stupid thought, I like make a point. Like here's this happens all the time with like me and Bonk, where today, like for instance, today we're watching the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, I remember who it was, but go ahead.
Yeah. So today we were watching the Kentucky Derby, and they were talking about something about this horse coming from Dubai, and I had the thought in my head. I thought, oh, is the Kentucky Derby this year in Dubai? And I thought, no, dipshit, it's in Kentucky. But then I still was like, okay, well, Bonk, I got to tell you this. And, like, you know, because I think it's funny. So, like, why is it that, like, I could easily avoid certain things, but I'm like, you need to know how dumb this is, this thought. You know, why do I invite it and you run from it?
I wouldn't have hesitated in that situation to point it out to somebody I care about. It's strangers.
Well, but, like, my whole fucking job is being a dipshit on the internet. Like, why do I...
But
I genuinely don't know why I run at it. You know?
Part of you knows that they're actively looking you up for that reason.
Because they want to hear me say dumb shit about egg whites or whatever.
Yeah, and half the people will love you for it, and half the people hate you for it.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people like.
You're very
egg whites, Dan.
You're very polarizing.
Oh, I know, and
I remembered why Dan's an idiot. I just looked at him. No, the guy thought of the fire pit. The last time I was here, we had this raging fire pit full of fire, and I had a cigarette butt, and I wanted to throw it in the fire, and he had to think about it whether he was okay with that.
There's a lot you ascribe to me maybe pausing for a second sometimes. Like,
no, you didn't want to let me throw the cigarette butt in the fire. You know that's true.
I think that was the same trip as the initial cigarette fiasco in the lawn.
Right.
And I think I was considering like retaliatory, like, nah, fuck you. Like, you got to figure out some annoying place to put your cigarettes. You don't get an easy out because you want to fill my yard with them.
But honestly, if you're trying to get rid of a cigarette butt, there's no better place for a cigarette butt.
Look, there's no downside to throwing a fucking
cigarette.
cigarette.
It's like when you want to kill a Terminator, the best place to do it.
That's such a weird jump.
You've tried everything else.
That's as weird of a jump as the original cigarette fiasco when you said, do you think when those men were going into Omaha Beach on the landing ships, when they smoked their last cigarette heading into certain death, do you think they thought twice about throwing their cigarette into the ocean? It's like, yeah, you're comparing my Connecticut yard to fucking D-Day. You maniac.
It was amplified, of course, but...
It's slightly, yeah.
It was the same basis.
It's exactly the same, yes. Jesus Christ.
But it's like a Terminator. You've shot him... You've blown him up.
It's not like a Terminator.
You hit him with missiles. Nothing's working. You throw him in a goddamn molten lava steel thing. It's all over. He gives you a thumbs up and it's all over.
Well, he threw himself into that.
It'd been funny if my cigarette butt had a little tiny thumbs up as I threw it in there. But you did hesitate. And you had to think about it.
I don't. At no point did I actually think that there'd be a downside to like you throwing a cigarette in there.
Then why'd you pause?
Because I was pissed at you about the yard thing, and I was like, "Nah, it's too easy. I need to annoy you more."
But if the objective of your decision is to make sure that it doesn't clutter your house up or make it look trashy, isn't a fire the best place for it?
Yes. Again, I'm not arguing that a fire is a good place for the cigarette. It's fine.
It's a good place for your face too. That beard would make you go up quick, too.
This video is going to have a weird ending.
What, you being burned to death?
Shoving your son's head into a fire?
No, because you're my ride to New York.
Oh, right. That's right.
My free ride to New York.
Yes. God.
We did discover in Boston the Uber drivers are not very talkative.
But I kept bringing up that I think all of our Uber drivers were not... English was not their first language.
Maybe, but you can express friendliness without language.
None of them seemed unfriendly. It wasn't a conversation.
They were just doing a job, I guess.
Yes.
That's one thing you learn when you're a driver. You can pretty much assess within 8 seconds if people want you to talk.
Oh, man. I've had some... Living where I live, like, it takes forever to get to the fucking airport. Yeah. And I've gotten into a few where it's like, it's just I'm tired or I'm nervous about a flight or something. And it's like...
This?
Yeah, but not just talkative, but like talking about, just fucking weird things or opinions or politics and stuff that in the morning when I'm about to get on a flight, the last thing I want to do is somebody talking to me about some fucking conspiracy thing or.
Yeah, you gotta read the room. I mean, when I'm driving, if I let them start, and if they engage in conversation, I can run with it. I can talk the whole trip if you want to. If you immediately, the key is for me is if your face is in your phone.
Oh, then yeah.
And I know. I mean, I've had so many trips where you never say a word.
If I am in like full on, like I cannot be talking today, like I will just kind of like put headphones in or something, like tilt my head back and close my eyes, Yeah.
And if you understand people at all, you can read those signs.
Yeah.
But some people are clueless to signs.
I always use you as my when I feel like an asshole for like if I land at Newark and I got to come all the way out here to Connecticut. It's like an hour and a half drive, and like it's always the time when I get in the car and that's when they see like how far they got to go, and they're like, "Oh, Connecticut, huh?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I know it's a pain. My dad's a driver in Kansas.
Oh, really?
I know it's a pain, so I always use that as like, sorry. I don't really have another choice.
But they should know that before they commit to accepting it.
Well, it's weird because like I'll book these things. This is boring, but it's just
You know what happens? I can tell you what happens.
Mm.
They see the dollar amount.
Exactly. And then like sometimes I will like schedule a thing, and they will call me and they'll be like, "Hey, are you going into the city or where are you going or like what state are you going to?" And it's like they're like, "Sorry, I don't do that." I've gotten into cars and they've been like, "Sorry, I don't go into the city. I don't do that," and like kick me out of the car. You know, it's
yeah. Well, the thing is, when you get an offer when you're driving, it shows you the time it's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
But as a human being, you really focus on the dollar amount.
Yeah.
Because every one you're deciding if it's worth your while. So if you see like a $30 trip,
yeah,
your instinct is, oh hell yeah, I'll take that. But you don't look at the time. And the thing is, the offer's only good for a few seconds. It beeps.
Oh, so you got to pick it right away?
Well, not right away. It gives you like, I'd say 4 or 5 seconds, where you've got to either.
It's pretty right away.
You've got to either decline it or accept it. So, I pretty quickly learned. I call it time and money. What's the time involved and what's the money?
Yeah.
But I need to get back into that because I really do enjoy it.
I feel like there have been like 4 times that you've kind of quit for like a dumb reason, or it's like something about like after COVID or something, like something about your cigarette ashes or something. What was you had some reason you stopped for a
when
while.
I started, I had been smoking in the car for like 8 years.
Yeah.
And I when I committed to trying it, seeing what it was like, I went and paid like $70 to have my car professionally cleaned, which for me. But I did it, and but I broke down every once in a while and would smoke in the car. You know, my personal time.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you got to spray it down and get all the smell out of there because that's not a good thing. Nobody wants that. I get that. I forget where I was going. But I haven't smoked in the car in probably 10 months.
Oh yeah.
But I hardly ever. So in a way, it was good because if you don't smoke in the car, smoking in the car is a lot of it.
A lot of what?
Smoking.
Oh yeah.
If you can stop doing that, that cuts a lot back.
You have got a lot of strong opinions about smoking these days.
I do, and they're getting stronger. The society's getting ridiculous. Fenway was a great example.
You hated that.
That's stupid. First of all, at a ball game, you're outside in the first place. And I get maybe, like if you're smoking and there's a family and there's a 3 or 4 year old right next to you, I get it. You don't want to smoke next to a kid. I get that. But if you're in like at Kaufman in Kansas City, where there's going to be like a third full, and you're in the upper deck, and there's no one within 100 feet of you, it's ridiculous that you can't smoke. And if you want to, and you want to do it legally, you got to go to this holding pen way outside the stadium. Kaufman, it's bad, but it's within the parameters of the ballpark.
Sure.
Fenway, you literally couldn't smoke anywhere on the grounds. And if you want to smoke, you had to leave the grounds, and you can't get back in. That's taking it way too far. I agree that restaurants, the bourbon's kicking in.
Oh, you're pointing. Oh, here we go. There it goes.
I agree about the whole when restaurants started. I get that.
And airplanes and.
I get that. Restaurants, airplanes, I get it.
Yeah.
Any open air space.
What about bars?
Well, you have to be a private club.
No, but what do you think? Do you think bars should ban?
Selfishly, I think you should be able to, but I get it that a lot of people wouldn't. But if you make the decision to allow smoking, which I think you should have that option as a bar owner, you're limiting your customer base. But if you want to do that, I think you should be able to. And you know what? I think it'd be great for business.
I mean, if a bar was like advertised like, hey, we're the smoker-friendly bar.
Yep.
But you got to really think that like that's our demographic, that's our crowd. Like,
well,
you know, because if you're going all in on that, you know.
Well, and that's why I like private clubs like the Eagles Lodges, and I think maybe I haven't been to VFW in a long time, but I know Eagles Lodges you can smoke in, and the demographic is like dead and between 70 and dead.
Put it this way: so the Red Balloon, where I wouldn't exist without that bar, on 77th Street in Kansas.
75th.
75th Street. When I was first of drinking age, it was notorious as like, well, if you go to the Red Balloon, you better be used to all your clothes smelling
really?
reeking of cigarettes. And when I first,
Really?
because it was like when I first started going there, it was probably like 06, 07, you know, and that's
Okay.
kind of around when things started changing. And it's like, man, if I'm going to the Balloon, my shit's gonna reek for a few days. And then they changed it. Do you think nowadays, if the Red Balloon, a very dingy dive bar karaoke joint in Kansas, said, "Hey, we're cool with cigarettes," and it was night after night filled with smoke, do you think their bottom line? Do you think they're making more money or less money?
I think they'd lose a third and gain a third.
So you think it'd be pretty even?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting.
I do.
Yeah.
But it's the way, and I was talking to you earlier, the thing that's cracking me up now is when you turn on a TV show, and it used to be nudity, suggestive situations, violence, adult topics, whatever, and now they're including smoking.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, that's been a thing for video games have had that on a long time. It's like, oh, you know, alcohol use, smoking, tobacco, you know,
Come on.
drug use.
Come on. Shield your eyes, kids. Someone's smoking.
Well, I mean, the more obvious thing that everyone's said forever is like it's crazy that like just gruesome fucking violence in prime time is fine, but a fucking boob is
Well, yeah, that started in the Vietnam War.
really.
Yeah, because that was when porn was trying to become more mainstream. And,
Sure.
But they were broadcasting images from Vietnam of kids getting killed
Right.
in Vietnam, and that was okay on the news.
Well, there's always the argument of like what's newsworthy and what's pornographic. You know, I'm talking about like nowadays, like like primetime TV for decades now has been CSIs and stuff and gruesome murders and stuff like that of fictionalized stuff. You know,
Right.
like that's been fine, like with no newsworthy element.
If I had to say the biggest change I've seen, at least in this country, with society, and I'm not offended by it because I'm old and my kids are grown and I don't care, but I'm just aware of how much it's changed, is how often you hear swearing in public.
I just don't think that matters.
It does matter, obviously, because you hear it more. But I hear the F-bomb pretty regular in public.
I really don't think it matters. Like I have that thing because like I'm so rarely around kids. They're like, but now a lot of my friends have kids, and so if I'm, most of my friends are elsewhere.
I've
But if
seen you do that. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I'll be like home for Thanksgiving or something, and there's like young kids there and stuff. And I'm like, fucking, oh shit, like that's the thing. I'll stop a curse with a curse, but I just don't think it matters, And like every parent I've been around where I've done that, they've been like, it's fine. They hear way worse at home,
It kind of matters. If you're a parent and you've got a 10-year-old, you don't want them saying that.
I mean, if it's fucking shit, I mean, yeah, you don't want them saying fucking slurs or whatever, like words that actually like matter, but like fucking shit and stuff, like.
Yeah, you do. You don't want your kids saying that.
I know I can't really relate to like kid stuff, but
Because, there's several families in my neighborhood with small kids, and I hear it all the time from like 10, 11-year-olds. Man, when I was that age, and I'm not saying we were better or whatever, it was just different. I mean, I felt uncomfortable saying that word until I was like 30.
I never cursed around you or mom for the longest time. I had a friend back when we lived in Lenexa, and he would just, I think you know who I'm talking about. He would just be like, oh, fuck you, this is my fucking house. Blah. And like in front of his dad, like at the dinner table. And I was just like, oh my God. I remember his brother had posters all over all the walls of like just, centerfolds and, just straight up like, here's my breast and vagina. And it's like, oh my God, I can't believe like he's allowed to have this and they can curse. And like that was shocking back then.
Well, that was an unusual family.
Yes.
I know exactly who you mean.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think you had to fire one of them.
I did. I had to fire one of them for stealing.
Yeah.
I'm the one who saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was not your typical family.
No. But I mean, it was, back in the day, it was weird to see people curse around their parents. I never really, I never cursed around you.
I never cursed around you.
That's true. You were always the one, too, that, like, you would see, I remember you saw Pulp Fiction and hated it. You told me that, like, yeah, I saw it. You're not seeing that movie until you're 35, It was interesting because, like, to anyone who knows us or follows us now and sees the relationship, and we're just talking about, what's going on? Is the fucking space station calling you?
That's not me, I don't think.
What? It's in your pocket. It lit up.
It did?
I thought that's your, I don't know.
My cigarettes lit up?
Well, I mean, that's the point, right?
Ah!
Oh!
Oh!
I think anyone who sees us now, what are you doing?
I'm looking for my phone. Now you got me wondering. It's right there. By the way, my space watch tells me where my phone is.
My space. It's really handy, right?
Oh, it's great.
I do that all the time. It's like, oh, where's my damn watch? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I've only had to do it once or twice, but it's pretty great.
It's extremely handy. I do it like 6 times a day. I'm not kidding.
I almost always have my phone on me.
Well, it's like I always feel. Here's the thing. I want to get your thoughts on this. We were talking about Bacalar earlier. It's just a kind of a bit. It's not actually like a point of argument or anything. But like, so he's got a 7-year-old kid, and it came up on a podcast not too long ago. We were talking about movies and like what his kid watches and what he's afraid of and can't watch or whatever. And Jaws came up, and Bacalar was like, "Are you fucking nuts? I'm not gonna let my kid see Jaws." And I was probably 6 or 7 when I saw Jaws. I mean, I was 7 when I saw Terminator. Like, I'm very much into, like, yeah, if...
I agree, though.
You agree with Bacalar? Really? Because you always were like, Mom let me just unfettered access to everything. Yeah. You were always the one that was more like, you can't watch this or whatever. So, like, is it more, I would just get scared?
No, it's either sexual stuff or violence, yeah.
Yeah? Like Jaws is just too scary?
Well, there was...
there's boobs at the beginning.
There was nude scene at the beginning and just... the violence. I mean, you don't want a kid being terrified of going in the water.
But I mean, isn't that part of being a kid? It's just like,
no,
that thing's scary.
Getting eaten by a shark?
Not legit getting eaten by a shark. But like isn't that part of the fun of being a kid is like, oh my god, I saw this thing and it scared the shit out of me, and like those memories of like.
That's why they make roller coasters.
I love those too, but I mean, sure, if a kid is legitimately like terrified of scary movies or death or anything like that, then like yeah, stay away from that stuff. But like. I remember as a kid, I just like would see Jaws and obsess about it, or Terminator, and like I just don't see anything inherently wrong with that if you're into it, you know. Like I knew it was fake all the time.
But I mean, to a different kid, it might create a whole new set of issues.
I'm not saying every parent, hey, sit your kid down and show him Jaws. I'm saying like it shouldn't be across the board, just like no kid should see Jaws. You know.
That's why there's ratings.
Sure.
I had a big thing with the book It or the movie. It was the book, wasn't it?
Well, you found out in 5th grade that I was reading It, and you were adamant that I not.
Well,
read that.
The only thing was because I had read it, and I could think about it was that group sex scene where all the young kids had sex with each other or something.
Jesus, I don't think I got that far.
You never finished it?
No, because you were like, you cannot fucking read that.
Yeah, like all these 14-year-old kids basically had a gangbang.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
In the book?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I wasn't comfortable with you reading that.
I mean, okay, that I get. That sounds pretty severe.
I'm not sure you're emotionally ready for it now.
With that specific circumstance, no. I don't want that at all. But no, that's kind of beyond the pale. But like, I don't know, future robots coming back to kill people, or like, you know, a shark is scary and ate people. Like, I don't know, like. I loved that shit, and so maybe I just feel that way about it.
I think there's a cutoff, obviously. I mean, I just think 7's way too young for that stuff. I mean, there's enough real stuff in life to be scared about, but you don't want to put all those thoughts in a young kid's brain. Let them be happy with their thoughts of Mickey Mouse and Donatello, and they'll figure out how much life sucks later.
I didn't think life sucked because I saw Jaws.
No, they'll figure there's plenty of real stuff to be scared about.
Like sharks.
Well, it did alter Americans' behavior on the beaches.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people were scared to swim in the ocean.
No, it's terrifying.
I still think about it. I mean...
No, I think about Jaws a lot, yeah.
I mean, like the rare occasion when I'm in the ocean, I'm like, what the fuck is down here? You know?
I mean, it's a Jurassic Park, and I won't go into the woods, you know?
Ah.
Go around trees.
I went in there hoping to find Laura Dern.
She's hanging out in the woods.
Yeah.
She's back there right now.
Back there looking at turds.
What she does.
Hey, you like turds, Laura? Check me out.
That's the worst pickup line ever. Hey, you like turds, Laura? Check me out. Oh.
There's your T-shirt.
There you go.
Oh. I mean, there's a... And I'm very anti-censorship, but you don't want everything out in the open for your 4 or 5-year-old kid to see.
Yeah.
And there's no religious basis for that for me. It's just...
I honestly think if I had kids, which I have no intentions of, I think my biggest thing that I would fixate on is I don't want them to have a fucking iPad. I don't want them to fall into a fucking YouTube algorithm and just sit there like looking at it. I don't want them to have a TikTok account. I don't want them to fucking like any of that shit where they're just the attention span is going to get nuked. And I say that as someone who grew up, you know, I got the internet when I was 12, not as a small child, but like I played video games my entire life. My attention span is not great, but like I just feel like it is like nuclear levels of damaging.
No, that's only going to get worse.
Exactly, and I think that is the thing. If I had a kid, more than any violence or nudity or anything like that, I think I would be like, you're not seeing you are not going to have an iPhone, you are not going to have a tablet for a long fucking time, and we are going to talk about healthy usage of this stuff. We're going to set the screen time type stuff. Video games, sure, I'm fine with that. Obviously, it's different now with online games and stuff, but
what you don't realize is it's tough to combat that when all their friends have.
That's exactly because I have so many friends who are very cognizant of that stuff and are like, I don't want my kid to have this or that. But then when it's like they go to school and at recess, the other kids are like, oh, check out this thing I saw on this. And so, why don't I get this, Dad? Like, there's just a million reasons I think I wouldn't be able to handle having kids. And like, I would not handle that well, I don't think.
I mean, honestly, we've had this discussion many times, but I just think you'd be miserable.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. There's just no way.
You've done whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted, your entire adult life. And to all of a sudden, because I still don't even think you realize how much having a kid
I get it.
Puts a clamp on that.
I talk to my friends about it. I'd say the majority of my friends at this point have kids between the age of like baby and 8.
10, yeah.
You know, and it's like, so I've definitely talked to all my friends about it. And I'm aware. I know there's no way I can really know since I don't have them. But like, look, I know certain friends that like used to be very available and used to be, you know, easy to get a hold of or hang out with, and now it's just like, oh boy.
Well, I realized that as in my early adulthood, because you know when I was 18, 19, I could make one phone call and have a poker game with 8 guys in an hour.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And when you're in your probably about, well, once you start having kids and you get married, you have to plan it like 2 months ahead of time.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody's got to get permission from their spouses. They got to clear their schedules. It's just, it's not good or bad. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't like begrudge any of my friends who have had kids and or aren't as available. But like, I had a friend recently. I asked a question. I was like, "Hey, do you want to do this thing this summer that we've usually done?" And he was like, he's about to have a kid, and he's like, "Well, you know, we're thinking, you know, the kids due soon as of this recording." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I think I was talking to my spouse about like maybe in August we could each do a thing where we each have a week where we take the kid and the other one gets to do whatever they want." It's like, you have to plan a week where you can do what you want 4 months in advance?
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking, like, I literally just, you're right. Like, I don't know if spoiled's the word, but like, I am so accustomed to like only doing what I want all the time.
Yeah, you would not react well.
It's in a way that I think that it's similar to like you, in which like you have very much gotten used to like your routine and your way of living, and when you are something encroaches on that, it's just like, what the fuck, and you don't necessarily handle it well. I don't handle it well. I don't like lash out or go crazy or anything, but like it doesn't compute when I don't get to do something I want to do.
Right.
You know? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but like the kids do not seem like they would work with that.
I do feel like you made the right decision.
Yeah. I mean, I used to think that it was definitely going to happen because, like, I don't know. I think you and I, for all the how complicated it is or unusual or whatever, our relationship was always so. It meant so much to me, and I think about all the great times growing up and as adults and everything. And I always grew up just assuming, like, oh man, it's going to be so fun. It's going to be so great to have that with my kid, you know? Like that.
Oh, and don't get me wrong, there are a million great things about being a parent.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of lifestyle, it's a huge shift.
Yeah. I never really considered it could be different until I met Bonk, and she was saying, like, hey, heads up, if you want to have kids, I'm not your girl. And I was like, well, I know for a fact I love you, but I don't know how I feel about kids, so let me go with the sure thing, and I will agree, like, I have no interest in kids, let's get together here. Yeah. And as time's gone on, and our lives have become the way they have been, it's just like, it's just not compatible with kids.
And you said that to her, then you went in the bathroom and shut the toilet lid.
I said, "This is the new way."
And you got a glass of wine on the way to the bathroom.
Yes, this is the new dad.
I want to give you credit on air. On air.
An air?
Yeah.
Oh.
You've really improved your driving.
Oh, look at that.
Dan and I went out to eat tonight, and he actually drove. And I've been with him at his worst driving.
What was the worst?
Minnesota.
Yeah.
You were terrifying. I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny.
Sure.
Being a passenger in a car you were driving was literally terrifying.
Well, in what way? Let the I know what you mean, but it's not like you make it sound like I'm just like just fucking like careening crazy
don't know
fast.
how
I'm not that.
Back when you were trying to be a normal adult, how you weren't in an accident every day. You were a really, really bad driver.
In what way? Like, describe the way I was a bad driver.
Oh, there's so many things. Very herky-jerky. I noticed your foot was always going
It was always
between the brake and the accelerator.
It's an anxiety thing. It's just like I just can't like. I know you're supposed to just put the foot down and keep it there, but like with me, it's like, oh, I just need to be ready to brake in case I need to. Oh, okay, am I going too fast? Am I going too like? It's a constant like my brain can't settle down.
Herky-jerky is the phrase I always think of. A lot of excessive braking and a lot of unnecessary acceleration. You still do that.
Not in the way of like I've never been like a speed guy.
No. Like instead of like you're at a stoplight or a stop sign, instead of easing into going forward, it's sudden.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I've seen from you still that's held back. But just an overall panicky, nervous thing. The herky-jerky stuff. And the panic when you, like highway stuff, merging, I can feel it in you.
Mm-hmm.
Or I used to be able to feel it in you. Just this overriding sense of, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
my heart's beating through my chest. My vision's getting, like, tunnel vision. Yeah.
And I get that way sometimes. I'm totally fine if I know where I'm going.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You don't have anxiety the way I do. Everyone has their own anxieties and stuff like that. I have just straight up anxiety disorders, like, pretty severely. Like, that's a very different thing. Like, I think a lot of people who don't have anxiety describe situations where they got anxious or if I don't know where I'm going or whatever, but it's like that is very different than just like unexplained, irrational, severe anxiety, which is what I've dealt with. You know, it's like it's not like, oh, I'm in a situation I should be anxious, I got anxious. Like, no, I'm merging onto the highway and everything's fine, and for some reason my fucking body's freaking the fuck out. You know?
I mean, you say that, but the way I reacted at Fenway was not rational.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
No, yeah, but I also don't know if you have anxiety necessarily. I mean,
mine's just fear of. I have a major thing about avoiding confrontation.
Yeah, I know.
I will do anything to avoid a confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no threat of confrontation in that thing, but the fact that I knew we were standing there and we were indecisive and people were trying to watch the game, that just boiled up in me. And it was a combination of that and looking stupid.
We alluded to it before, but this is where it's like people were in our seat. I went in there to be like, hey, you're in our seat.
The game had already started.
The game had started, and he was just standing there like, and it's literally 30 or 40 minutes afterwards. You were like, I feel like my blood pressure is through the roof. Oh my God, I'm just now starting to come down. I'm just not like you were like, just because we were like, it took them a while to like move over, and you were having like an internal crisis.
It was.
Yeah.
I was dying inside. And you notice I tried to just sit down in the wrong seats just to...
Oh, I know. And I was like, I was asking. I was like, hey, no, we're 7 and 8. Go over to 7 and 8. And just let me do it. You know.
Yeah, and I don't like being like that. But,
no, nobody likes when they feel like that. No.
But anywho,
it's a fun sound.
The passage of time, aging, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I can distinctly remember I had just started a new job when I turned 40. I'd been there like a week or two. And that was the Yellow Pages fiasco.
Where are you marriage, kids-wise, at my age?
I'm
38, I'm 39 almost.
Out of a horrible divorce.
Okay, so you're out of wife 2, divorce.
I was in legal hell with her.
Right.
Kids were little. My 2 little ones were little.
Yeah.
Just, I wasn't making jack shit for money. I was fighting constantly with the ex. That was a horrible period in my life. But anyway, so when I turned 40, I just started this job, and I remember the boss. And now I remember exactly what she said. She said, "We have a birthday today. It's Paul's birthday." She said, "I'm not gonna say how old you are. It's a big one." And typical workplace stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, that 20 years elapsing feels like 3 years.
Really?
And that, you'll find that as you get older, 10 years feels like one. It's just incredible. It's like New Orleans. It doesn't seem that long ago. You and I we went to New Orleans on my 50th birthday. And it doesn't seem that long ago.
No, it was 10 years, like almost to the day.
And I think now I am closer to 70 than I was to the New Orleans trip.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me and scary as hell.
Yeah. Honest question. So that is the case with everyone, and I have felt it.
Sure. And my dad warned me about it.
Sure, and it's true. But do you think any of it is exacerbated by your lifestyle of it being you've lived in the same place, you don't leave the house, you do the same things you don't think that's
No, and I'll tell you
exacerbating
what. No, and I'll tell you why. Because almost everybody I know is my age or older.
Sure.
And everyone feels the same way.
And again, I feel the same way too, even at like 40.
And it gets a lot worse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the analogy, the toilet paper one. Like I think about this a lot. I think it's right. If you want to tell it.
Well, I use cartons of cigarettes, but go ahead.
Well, I remember you saying once that life is like a roll of toilet paper, where it's like as it gets further along or closer to the end, it just goes faster and faster, And it's like I've thought of that a lot.
Yeah, it's true. Like if you're a smoker and you get a carton of cigarettes, you're like, oh man, I'm good forever.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, it's like, oh fuck, I got to get cigarettes. But the thing is, and you and I know this firsthand from losing my nephew and your cousin last year at 40, suddenly, to cancer. It's like, and there's no promises. Yeah, time goes fast, and yeah, I'll be 82 fast. There's no chance I'll be there's no guarantee I'll be 61. There's no guarantee you'll be 39. Yeah, I've known a lot of people in my lifetime that got in car wrecks and just they were just going to work or whatever, and fuck, they never make it there. There's no guarantees.
I don't want to get like
and I say shit like that, and I think to myself that I should be experiencing more and living more, but I don't do it.
No, you said that when Grandpa passed too. That
Yeah.
like, oh, this is gonna be my impetus for like I'm gonna start going out and
Yeah, I mean-
living my life while I can still get up and move around and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I saw a man who enjoyed life more than anybody I ever knew, and who the last 3 years of his life, due to dementia, were just awful. And I saw him deteriorate before my very eyes. And yeah, I thought that was an awakening. I thought my appendectomy was a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Did I say appendectomy?
You said it right.
Appendectomy was a wake-up call.
Mm-hmm.
I thought losing, my nephew was an awakening, but and I used this story in my head, and it's so stupid, but it's just the way I rationalize stuff. I'm like, I saw the Grand Canyon when I was a kid, but I often think, I use this just as an example. I was like, while I still can, while I'm physically able, I should go see the Grand Canyon. Mm-hmm. And then the other side of my brain goes,
sure.
Well, then you'll see the Grand Canyon, and when you die, you'll just be a dead guy who saw the Grand Canyon. Did it really matter? That's just how my brain works.
I can't relate to that.
You live life very differently than I do.
Well, I relate to like the whole thing. Like I think everyone knows, life's not guaranteed and all that. But you think about like, oh, the car crash or this could happen. Like that always just feels like random, just bolt of lightning out of nowhere could kill you, of course. But not to get depressing, but yeah, you alluded to Matt passing recently, and I've talked about it a little bit before. But he was 40 and suddenly got some stomach pains, pancreatic cancer. And from the time he got diagnosed to the time he passed was like a month. Less than a month. And that was the most eye-opening thing for me, and something I've thought about constantly since.
And he was close to your age.
That's the thing. He was 2 years older than me, and we were really close growing up. And that was just the crazy thing. Is like, you think there would always be like a warning, or like, oh, he was sick for a few years, whatever. Or, I never really considered how immediate it could be, where it's like, nope, all of a sudden, oh, what's that stomach pain? And then, like, you're gone.
Yeah.
It's, that was, for that to be my first experience with that, and someone I was so close with, it was, and someone that close to my age, and someone that was, frankly, like, way more healthy than me. You know, he was active, he was, you know, man, that was...
Well, it reminds me of Norm talking about, and he was trying to be funny, but he made a good point. It was like, you know, you think there's something wrong with you, you go to the doctor, and you get the all clear. Doctor says, "Ma, you're all good." And said, "Just keep coming back, and I'll give you some news that'll shatter your world."
Sure.
At some point.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's
Well, I'll never forget when I figured this shit out. My, you know this, but my daughter's grandmother on their mother's side just recently passed at 95. And I was doing the math. I got to do it again. But yeah, she was 55 years old when my nephew Matt was born. And she outlived him.
That's fucking insane.
What the hell? That'd be like, think of a 5-year-old child right now.
Yeah.
And I would outlive them. That's it. That's nuts. It's so unfair and so random.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I know I'm not a spring chicken at, 39, but I have so many plans for my life and so many things I'm excited about and all these things. Oh, I can't wait for me and Bianca to do this when we're old, and we're going to do these trips, and we're going to move here and retire here and do this when we're retired. And, like, just the idea of, like, in my head, that's just like, well, of course that's all going to happen. Like, that's all, but then it's like, things like the Matt situation, everything just are a stark reminder that, like, you can make all the plans in the world.
Yeah.
And, look, life stuff you could never, ever see coming could just have totally other plans for you.
Well, it reminds me of my favorite quote, and you know this, but there's a quote from a John Lennon song. It says, "Life is what happens while you're busy making other plans."
Sure, yeah.
And you can map out your life, in your head the way you think it's going to go. But no matter who you are, life's going to throw you curveballs.
Yeah.
And things are going to happen you don't expect and you don't see coming. And you can't do anything about it. It's just the way it is.
Well, and I think the important thing is to just be able to roll with the punches as much as you can. Like, and
Sure.
sometimes those punches are like minor inconveniences. Sometimes like, oh wow, someone got pregnant, now I got to have a kid. And this one's like, oh, someone's got an illness. Someone's got, oh, I got this job where I got to move to another state. Or like that can take so many different forms on a wide spectrum of importance.
Yeah.
And I think it's just important to be able to roll with whatever punches you can.
Yeah.
But of course, there are some punches that are just going to be like knockout blow, and you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, it's like my sister and her husband. It wasn't in their mind that they would outlive one of their children.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, life's a crapshoot sometimes.
It is.
But, oh, I see a dipper.
A dipper? I'm going to go pee and grab, I'll grab one more log?
Huh?
You want to grab another log? What do you think? Are we is this the wind-up?
I want to sing a song.
Okay, sing a song. I'll go grab a log. I don't know where you're going with this, but...
No, I want to sing it to you.
Oh, well, then just vamp for a little bit and you can
Do you
sing
know
us.
the Put a Log on the Fire song?
Do you want to sing it when I get a log?
I want to do it right now.
Okay, let's hear it.
Put another log on the fire. Cook me up some bacon and some beans. Go out to the truck and lift it up and change the tire. Wash my socks and sew my old blue jeans.
I need to start taking notes. This is a lot of things.
Wash my socks and sew my old blue jeans. So put another log on the fire. And then there's another line I can't remember. And the end is, and come and tell me why you're leaving me.
Okay. Well, I'm leaving to get a log, so that's pretty easy. So, all right.
I always like that song. Do you remember, I'm a little drunk.
Weird.
Weird.
Talk to the folks while I get a log.
1814, we took a little trip. You know that song?
Tell the folks.
The folks. Okay, Norm. Not that anyone's watching, but thanks for listening to our depressing stories about life. You will face some hardship in life, and you're going to have a lot of fun on the way, too. Got to ride the waves. I lean on lyrics a lot. There's a song by Jerry Jeff Walker, which I know none of you have heard of. It's called Getting By, and I'm trying to think of the line. Just getting by on getting by is my stock and trade. living it day to day, picking up the pieces wherever they fall, just letting it roll, letting the high times carry the low, just living my life, easy come, easy go. I was just sharing a song lyric,
Yeah?
and I think there's some words of wisdom in there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to pee, so tell me while I'm peeing.
Don't pee in your yard because that'll hurt the home value.
I'm peeing in my yard. I never had a problem with that.
Jesus Christ. You're committing to like another 2 hours.
It's one log.
That was two things.
I broke it in half. It was one that became two.
What are you, Lou Ferrigno?
What does that mean?
You broke it in half?
It was a log.
By the way, earlier I saw Dan do something super manly.
What?
I'm not talking to you. Why is the bush talking?
Hello, Paul.
Why is the
Is
bush...
this a Bible story?
Why is the bush growing?
Judas will betray you.
It was a burning bush, not a peeing bush.
Well, there's fire around. A peeing bush.
That was a different Bible.
Yeah.
What was I talking about?
I don't know.
This is sliding into nonsense. I know your fans hate nonsense.
Yeah, they have no tolerance.
No tolerance for nonsense.
All right.
I loved the music questions earlier on the other thing we did.
On this Twitch thing?
Some of those were tough choices.
Yeah. I would love if you started doing the Twitch stuff. That'd be fun.
I'll consider it.
I doubt it, but I'd love to be surprised.
I heard a dumb joke on Twitter tonight.
What's that? What's that?
I don't even know how to phrase it. Shut up. You're making me pee. Shut up. You should tell the folks. You should tell Beardy Man 3000 there about how you made me shit my pants in New Orleans.
Oh, I've told that story numerous times on various things.
You got a picture of it.
I do have a picture.
Fuck.
How you doing there?
Ah. I shit my pants.
Well, let me try to remember to put up. I'm reminding myself to put up a picture of him shitting his pants on a bench right now.
I shit my pants in the parking lot of my high school 2 years ago. True story.
Why are you standing up?
I'm thinking about peeing. Don't you know how I operate by now?
You gotta stand up to think about
I
peeing?
gotta think about stuff and...
Yeah. Oh, what was it called earlier? The preliminary Paul process for taking a shower that took literally 2 hours of you hyping yourself up to take a shower? Cool. Cool. Fuck yeah.
You're extending it by making me laugh.
This is how you shit your pants.
Huh?
That's how it started.
I sold something for like $2.
A couple gumballs.
I can... I gotta pee so bad it's affecting my walking.
Just go pee.
Woo.
The preliminary Paul process is a fun time. You ever want to do anything with old Paul Ryckert? If he has to do anything, if he has to get out of a bed, if he has to put pants on, if he has to take a shower especially, it's a numerous step process in his head where he was talking about like, well, Dan, this is a big step in the preliminary Paul process is I brought my underpants from the bedroom to the shower area, and now I got to sit here. Now I'm going to go smoke. But he never just goes and smokes. He talks about smoking for upwards of a half hour. And it's fun, too, because he just hovers over you. So he'll just, like, sometimes you'll be waking up, and he'll be, like, going out in the morning, and he will literally just sit. This happened in the hotel. You sat on your bed while I'm laying in bed trying to sleep, and just been, I'm going to go smoke. I'm going to go smoke the cigarette. Yeah, I'm going to go smoke the cigarette. I'm like, okay, just go. No, are you mad at me? It's like, no, just go smoke the cigarette. Are you mad at me? Just smoke the fucking cigarette. You're not a big proponent of the just ripping the Band-Aid off and getting stuff done.
Oh, no.
Why?
I got to talk and think about it for a while.
Do you think it helps you?
If there was a hidden camera in my house, you would think I was insane.
Think.
Because I'm really lately doing a lot of talking to myself.
Out loud?
And everything you heard...
Audible? Out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything you heard in your last 3 days with me is stuff that's going on in my head or I'm saying it. I mean, the most mundane things. Like, okay, I need to smoke, pee, and then What's another one?
Well, I just thought of a very important one. I need you to tell the folks about that. I think I'm the only person you've told about. Please talk about your nightly routine before bed.
You talk about the stove and the door?
Nope. The thing that gets grated.
That makes me sound insane.
Go on.
I used to do that with curb too.
No, let's start with what you told me here.
It sounds really weird.
Yeah.
It's just a fun little thing I do.
Let the folks know.
The folks.
This has been an intimate conversation. Let's peer into this.
All right. Okay, Norm. By the way, you have to promise me that at some point we'll do like a 2-hour. Is this a podcast? What is this? Firecast?
This is a Firecast. It's a video we're putting on YouTube.
Just talking about Norm, like a tribute.
Oh, I think we've done that a lot.
In bits and pieces, but devote some time.
Dad, you're trying to divert. You got to talk about the thing you do every night.
It makes me sound clinically insane.
It does.
But it's fine.
Tell the folks.
Well, it's more of a visual thing.
Well, I mean, you can. We've got 3 cameras here, so.
But I have to be laying down.
Well, just do your best.
And in my underwear.
Do your best. You're delaying this.
I am a person who, when they go to sleep, has to have something on the TV. And it's a whole routine. I haven't even told you about the stove door thing, have I?
Stove door?
It's fairly new.
What's this?
It's part of my new routine.
Okay.
And if you saw it just watching me, you'd clearly think I was insane.
Okay, great.
I'm a little OCD. Just a little bit.
2?
So I like to watch a TV show not watch, but listen to a TV show as I fall asleep. And generally I like to stuff that I've seen before, so I can just hear it and not have to watch it. And I've literally seen every Family Guy like 5 or 6 times. So it's usually Family Guy. And if you've ever watched it, the opening theme has it's a song that I know very, very well. And I do a little hip.
Show the folks.
No, you have to be laying down.
Okay.
Just rotate your hips to the music, and then at the end you punctuate it when the song ends. And
So
stuff.
you're doing like one of these guys as the music's
It's like
going
a
on?
showgirl type thing.
Okay, all right.
Da 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 da. Boom, and the big finish
okay.
with the
Got it.
groin
The thrust. Yeah.
And then at the end of it, I give myself a grade as to how good I did at the little dance.
So like, is the last thing you think about before sleep every night is like, that was an 8?
Yeah, I actually give it a grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it 1 to 10?
Huh?
Is it a 1 to 10, or is it like an
Yeah.
A plus B?
Yeah, it's usually like a 6 because it's hard.
Have you ever hit a 10?
No.
Oh. What's the
man.
highest you've done?
I can't even imagine achieving those kind of standards.
Well, I mean, everyone's got to have dreams.
I do have another thing I've started.
What's that?
You'll love it.
Have I heard this?
No.
Great.
I'm not insane, folks. I'm really not, beardy man. When I go to bed, well, first of all, that whole process is a to-do. Because I'll be downstairs. My bedroom's upstairs. And I get so tired, and I'll be so tired. And I can't imagine having the energy to do the things I have to do to get to bed. And that's a little saying I have. Do the things you have to do to get your ass to bed. So that's,
Do you do like sing-songy?
it's in my head.
Okay.
But that's how I say it. Do the things you have to do to get your ass to bed. And at the time, it seems like so much stuff. So,
What are the things?
smoke. Get the last urine out of the old wanker.
Has to be a more efficient way to say that.
I urinate.
Uh-huh.
No. So, and it's always a cigarette and a pee. So you get that out of the way. And I go out and have the cigarette on the porch. Before I get the cigarette, I grab my car keys and I make sure the car's locked. You can see the car flash.
Mm-hmm.
So that's step 1. You smoke. I got the screen door. I have to physically say out loud the door thing is down and then verify that it's locked. And then it's shut, turn, click with the wood door. You shut it, turn the bolt, and then with my door you have to shut it and you can hear it audibly click.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go in, and I have to physically verify that the bolt is through with my finger. And then I step in the kitchen and check the 6 stove things. Off, 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 off. Freezer and fridge are both shut securely so I don't waste any energy while I'm asleep. And then I go out and I turn on the hall light and I visually verify that the bolt is through. And then I walk across the living room and I shut off. No, before I shut off the light, I look at the door to make sure the door is locked. And then I shut off the light and I go to bed.
Is all these steps, the way you recited them, I think I know the answer to this, but like, is it like clockwork every night? Where like do you ever miss one of these? Or
And sometimes I will do all of that shit, go all the way across the room, and not be sure that I visually and physically touch the bolt.
Yeah. So you'll, wow. I mean, like that's not so far out of, like, everything you're doing is for a reason, but like I think it's still like the almost clinical, just like step by step. Now I do this. Now I do this. Like,
It's the regimented thing about it.
yeah, and I'm not a doctor. I don't know how much that is, like OCD or whatever, but like,
Well, of course it is.
it sounds like. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people think of like OCD as just that, like, stereotypical, like, oh, I gotta wash my hands 20 times and tap the
Right.
door, and like, but you just have a routine that.
Yeah, and I
It's-
have to do it. I have to do it.
Man, that's. Have you been diagnosed with OCD?
No.
No. Do you think you have it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had, almost every woman I've ever been with, in one way or shape or form, has told me that they thought I was OCD.
Yeah.
And I probably am.
Yeah. I hesitate to, like, not being a doctor or whatever, but like, it sounds like that. Certainly.
Yeah, it does.
That's the thing. I think I had a doctor diagnose me with OCD once, but like, I don't know if I have that. Like, because when I hear like you describe that, or I hear like the kind of like traditional OCD things or whatever, like, I don't feel like I have that. I think I can fixate on thoughts and obsess over things, or like just one thing. It's just like, why isn't this? Or I need to figure out what's going on with this or whatever. Like, and it's all I can think about.
Yeah.
Even if I try to pry my brain from it. But I don't think I have the kind of like regimented, like, I have to do this and this, and every single day I do this. I just kind of,
You're more free flowing.
yeah, I feel like every day I just kind of wing it. And, can you relate to this at all? Because I think this is how I approach everything. It's just like, whatever is in front of my face at a given time, that's what I'm doing. And I'm really bad about if anything over here happens. Like, okay, if I'm doing this,
Oh, yeah.
I'm making this thing, I'm doing this thing, I'm whatever, and then a thing calls my attention over here. I get a text or a notification, or someone calls my name or something, and it's like, and then whatever I was just doing is not even remotely in my brain.
Yep.
And I will forget I was doing that. I misplace stuff all the time. I lose my phone constantly,
I'm like that, but I have learned to combat that by so hardly focusing on one single thing
Yeah.
that I have to accomplish something as mundane as like checking your light bill or whatever.
Sure.
If that's what the thing I was doing, I have to make sure I do that, and nothing else can interfere. Because if it does, I just go off all willy-nilly and I lose focus.
Yeah.
And I can't get anything done.
I try to combat it with stuff like, you can set all sorts of like do not disturb modes on your phone and stuff like that. And so it's like, I know myself enough to where it's like, I need to just I'm almost always on do not disturb, because phones are so bad about just like making any noise or it lights up or something. It's like, oh, well, now
They haven't helped.
Yeah, and it's just so hard where it's like with what I do and being on the computer so much, it's just like between emails coming in, or somebody DMs me on Discord, or I get a text over here, or this and that, or someone just rang my doorbell, or the dogs are freaking out about something. It's just like any number of things in just day-to-day life, you're just constantly at risk of just like, oh, now there's this, and then you forget this, like B happened, now I forgot A.
The phones have made it. That's why it's really difficult for me to watch TV or movies.
Well, I have a strict, like, if I'm watching something, like, like Succession is a show we watch and religiously and like pay attention to it. Phone is airplane mode. Everything is just like, I am watching this show. But then there's certain stuff too where it's just like, okay, this is a background thing we're putting on, and other stuff's going on. Like wrestling, it can be on in the background and checking phone or talking or whatever. But like, if I want to actually pay attention to something, I have to strictly be like, fucking nothing is making noise.
Yeah.
And another reason that kids would probably be antithetical to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds hard, but yeah. So you have that too? You can relate to that? I don't know if that's ADHD. I don't know if that's OCD. I don't know what anxiety. What's that?
I call it single focus. I'm very single focused. I've had pretty much every therapist I've ever talked to thinks I have anxiety in one form or another, and I don't think that's true, but they're experts.
Yeah, and I don't know, because like talking to you, I feel like we have very different experiences with the things that
Yeah.
I
They
don't know.
manifest themselves differently.
Yeah, I think if you have anxiety, which you might, certainly, I think it's a different form than I have, certainly, but
I'm starting to worry I just might be fucking lazy.
yeah, maybe we just lump it all in that. I don't know if that explains the fucking finger on the
'Cause
doorknob every night.
I do think I'm a person that performs best when I absolutely have to do something. It's
So
like,
if you know you have to make a flight, you're gonna do that.
I'm thinking more in terms of like a job situation.
Okay.
Like if I know I have to be at work at 8 o'clock, I'll be there.
Yeah,
I was
you did it for a long time.
I was the most dependable son of a bitch in the post office they had, and I'm not exaggerating. In 10 years, I think I called in a day and a half, working 6 days a week. But I need that structure. I do, and I just don't have it, and I need it, but I don't want it. I just don't. That's the
Man.
thing I love about eBay is once you set up, a shit ton of listings like I have, and it's not a lot of money, but it's something coming in every day. Every morning I wake up and I've sold 2 or 3 things, and it's not a ton of money, but it's something.
Yeah. Well, Dad, I just got the first card full error on that one there.
Out of film.
Out of film. Yeah, the film ran out.
Do they still use film?
It's rare. Pretty much everything's digital. Like the rare show will use film.
Do you remember 1 hour photos?
Yeah. No, I
You
remember
do?
getting stuff. Yeah,
That was such a big event in people's lives.
getting something like.
Well, especially when you came back from vacation.
Sure. Yeah.
You drop that little roll off and that little thing that people put pot in,
Mm.
and then you
Oh right. Yeah.
and then you get it back, and you're so excited to see your pictures.
Yeah. No, I definitely remember that. I remember going to a bunch of like wrestling events and stuff, and that was you'd see your stuff afterwards.
So are all major films done digitally now?
Not all, but pretty largely. That's kind of how it's done. Like I want to say, I think Succession does things on film, and that's a real rarity.
Didn't they do Super 8 on that?
Super 8. The movie Super 8?
Yeah.
Super 8's a type of film. It wouldn't surprise me.
Because they were trying to catch that 70s feel to it.
Or 80s, yeah. I think that's...
80s, yeah.
Yeah, that it might have. I mean, it happens from time to time. It's rare. But yeah, some things will.
Oh, we didn't talk about Gina Gershon.
Yeah.
I had this. I started this thought process years ago, but it was about Farrah Fawcett. Because Farrah was about. Let's see. I'm 60 now. She would have been. Let's see. That was 14 years ago. So Farrah would be like 74 now, right?
Sure.
But Farrah was like my it girl growing up.
It was just you.
Yeah, just me. I was the only one that bought that poster.
Yeah. A lot of times.
Well, they would get all soggy.
Oh,
Anyway,
my God.
Anyway.
Goodness gracious.
Good Lord.
Oh, call the cops.
Which reminds me, we got to tell a story about my mom and the poster. Do you know about this?
Oh, yes.
It explains a lot about me,
It
actually.
does, yeah.
But anyway, so Farrah Fawcett, my plan was, I always was just so passionate about Farrah, and I just thought she was gorgeous and sweet. Blah, blah, blah.
Again, just you.
So my plan was to ride it out until until her looks deteriorated enough as that's hard to say after you've been drinking. Cops should ask you to say deteriorated when they pull you over. All right, son, say deteriorated. Deteriorated. All right, come with me. Till her looks slipped enough to where she would consider dating a schlep like me.
Now, wait a minute. Are yours in this scenario just staying frozen in time? You're not
No, I'm
deteriorating?
aging too.
And that doesn't count?
No, because we're both gross.
Okay. But she's still not, like, does the gap get less wide there?
No, but I would be gross too, but a little less gross than her. Because
Why are you less gross than Farrah Fawcett?
You're fucking this up.
I'm just sorry to poke holes in this.
Because she'd be like 75 and I'd be like 63.
Okay.
Just shut up. So anyway, her looks have faded dramatically, and so have mine. But she's at the point where a 63-year-old spry dude like me.
Spry. No one's fucking called you spry ever once. Not when you were 20.
Spry when I was 8. No, the theory is that her looks are gone enough to where she would consider dating a guy like me. That's the thing. But she had the nerve to die on me. It was horribly sad. The same week as Michael Jackson, which she got the short shrift on that, by the way. Because if it was any other week, she'd have been the big news story. And Ed McMahon, too. They all died the same week.
Oh, yeah.
We got to talk about French Ed McMahon, too.
No, we don't.
So once Farrah had passed, unfortunately, my focus shifted to, will you stop doing stupid nerdy stuff? Nobody cares.
Everything's dying.
Nobody cares. Nobody's watching.
What are we doing?
So my focus shifted after Farrah unfortunately passed to Gina Gershon, who is about, I think, 2 or 3 years older than me.
Sure.
Who's just ridiculously sexy. And I've always it's doing a thing.
You're fine.
So I always had a thing for her.
Weird.
Just me.
Yeah, just you.
So it's the same plan now with her. I'm going to ride this out until we're both old and gross, and then she'll consider dating me.
Is she going to think you're the best option?
At that age, she'll be out of her mind and won't know.
So you're going to wait until someone becomes senile?
Yes.
Also, I don't think she's senile. I think
Not
she's
yet.
doing great.
Right now.
I can't approve of this plan at all. I think this is a bad plan. I think it's there's some problems here.
Plan C is Susanna Hoffs.
Who?
Bengals lady. She's older than me, too.
Wow. It seems likely then.
It could happen.
No. No, it can't.
But that's the plan. So, Gina, if you're out there, I get it now.
She's watching. Yeah.
I get it now. There's no interest. I'm not even interested in me. I can understand why you're not. But about 10 years, we're on.
We're on.
Me and you, Gina. Church.
God damn it. We have to end this. You need to just stop saying things.
Specifically church.
And most other things.
Did you just see a car?
I mean, there's a street there.
Is that the cops? Yeah, I saw it again.
Yeah, there's a street.
What were we saying about ghosts earlier?
Yeah, but there was a Twitch question about do you believe in ghosts?
No, it was before that. I don't know.
We should wrap this up.
Do you think? No, I'm having fun. So.
We can still hang out here. We're running out of film.
What kind of cheap ass batteries did you buy for these things?
Cheap ass. But we've been going fucking long. We've been going. It's actually the card's been getting full. Let's see. We've been going for 3 hours.
How long?
And again, we can still stay out here.
How long till this is on the TV?
On the TV. Well, I'm gonna be out of town for 4 days, and biggest game of the last fucking 6 years is coming out on Friday. So
Yeah, when do you get to play it?
that's a long story, but release day, along with everyone. I hate complaining about not playing stuff on pre-release, but that's Nintendo jail is a long story, and you don't care.
So when you do, will you sit down for like hours and days?
Breath of the Wild, I had 2 or 3 weeks early, and I was literally like every day putting like 16, 18-hour days into it.
Were you in the industry then?
5 years ago?
Well, I don't know. You might have been with the WWE.
Oh, no, I was a Giant Bomb. Yeah, I reviewed it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So it was, but also if I wasn't, I mean, it wasn't just pure just work ethic. It was like I was fucking feeling like a kid again in a way I hadn't in forever. And oh man, yeah.
You know a celebrity I used to think would like me if they had the chance to meet me?
Who's that?
Sheryl Crow.
Why? Why would she like
We had a lot in common.
Let's hear it.
She
fingers her doorknob every night and looks at the oven knobs, and
she'd write a song about that.
Yeah, that's her big hit. All I want to do is touch the doorknobs and make sure the fridge is shut so I don't waste money on my energy bill.
It's too wordy.
I know. I don't know what she called it. It was parenthetical, but yeah.
She's from Missouri.
Okay.
So we're both from Missouri.
Uh-huh.
Both big fans of music.
Mm-hmm.
We're about
Both
to
had sex with Kid Rock.
Ah.
I don't know if she did. She just made that
You
song
know, she
with
didn't
him.
date Kid Rock.
The song made it seem like
She
it.
did Clapton.
She did?
Yeah. And
It's also bad.
and Lance Armstrong.
Really?
Yeah, no, yeah.
She picked some interesting ones. All right, anyway. So I guess you would Lance Armstrong, Eric Clapton, Kid Rock, you. Okay.
And I got 2 balls and no beard.
That's a murderer's row there. Jesus Christ.
Paul Ryckert, Eric Clapton, and Lance Armstrong.
I think you're the least problematic.
I don't know. But anyway, and we're about the same age. She's actually like a year or 2 older than me. I think it'd work out.
No. I don't think it would. Dad, I mean this with all the love and respect in the world. I think she's got better options.
I don't know. She's been through the gamut of celebrity boys.
Time for a retired mailman who has to take 2 hours to hype himself up for his shower.
She knows the value of a coupon.
I don't think she thinks about coupons, Dad. I'm
You
sorry.
don't think she uses coupons?
No, I don't think Sheryl Crow uses coupons.
That's a good question. Cheryl?
No, it's not. She's
Gina?
watching.
Cheryl?
Her and Gina are having a girls' night. They're watching this video together.
Oh, Paul's dreaming.
Ghost of Farrah's here.
No.
Not
No.
interested.
I'm
Pass.
dead and I don't want him. Oh, man. Yeah, I kept trying to tell everybody else in America how sexy she was, and nobody'd pay attention.
I know. You were the only one who saw it.
I kept going, look at this poster!
You see this fucking poster?
Get that thing away from me.
Oh, talk about your mom and the
Oh,
poster.
Cheryl Teagues.
Yeah. No, the poster. Oh,
Yeah.
is that the poster? Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure all these folks here know who Cheryl Teagues was. Oh, I'm having a pain right here. Ugh. That's good.
60 seems great.
I hope we get the video evidence of my death on a deck. Nice snort.
Thanks.
No, when I was a teenager, I had a poster of Cheryl Teagues, who was a big swimsuit model. She was on Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, blah, blah, blah. Big sex symbol. So I had this sexy poster of her in a swimsuit. And one day when I was in school, my mother made a swimsuit top, bikini top, and a bikini bottom out of some kind of cloth and taped it over her photographed bikini to make her look less revealing. And I came home and that's what I saw in my bedroom.
And what were the songs that your mother found too sexual for you to listen to?
I remember 3.
Wait, first let's talk about the ones she did not raise an eyebrow about, which were AC/DC's "Giving the Dog a Bone"
and "Let's Get It Up."
Let's Get It Up. Okay, so these no red flags, but too sexual were
"That Smell" by Leonard Skinner, which concerns
like
me.
Quaaludes.
Yeah, it was about drug and alcohol abuse.
Yes,
but she didn't care to listen to lyrics, obviously. There was a song by REO Speedwagon called "Keep Pushing," which was about. Are you casting a spell on me?
I'm just.
What are you doing?
I'm checking the film levels.
"That Smell" by Leonard Skinner.
We just said that.
Oh, REO Speedwagon, "Keep Pushing," which was about perseverance and never giving up.
Not about boning.
Boning. And
Don't Do Me Like That.
Tom Petty, "Don't Do Me Like That," which was like, don't treat me bad in a relationship. And she thought it was a sexual thing.
Yeah.
So it was fun growing up.
In Kansas.
I say that, but I had a great childhood. I did.
You did. We ranked your decades. We did a tier list of your decades.
And they were in total reverse order.
It was, you were 10 to 20 was number 1, 0 to 10 was number 2, 20 to 30 was number 3, and then steady decline.
Oh, yeah.
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 Oh, Lord, I'm tired.
Here we go.
Well, it's what 3 in the morning?
No, I know. It's just, yeah. It's an appropriate time to be tired.
We're on a film, for God's sake.
Film. We should rap. Every time I've tried to rap for the last 2 hours, you're like, what? No! Are we good to rap?
I'm enjoying this.
I am too. This is great.
Your voice is getting higher. That's one of my favorite memories of you was in San Francisco. Me and a bunch of your friends, and I think it was me that realized that when you were full of shit, you were lying about something or defensive, your voice got higher. And everybody realized it was true. And you went on to prove it throughout the night.
By my voice getting higher.
And then we ended the evening on a rooftop eating donuts.
Socrates dropped his donut.
Oh, it's so out of context. Oh, God. Oh, Lordy. Well, folks at home, Beardy Man, 3,000. What was the other one?
I don't remember from the Norm thing.
I'm tired and kind of drunk. I'm going back home tomorrow, folks. So, Gina, if you're listening, baby, I'll be in Kansas City tomorrow. Let's do lunch. We can come over and smoke cigarettes and do the Family Guy dance.
The first 10.
I'll be her first 10.
What a beautiful send-off. Say bye to the folks.
It could happen.
It's not.
It's not going to happen soon. It's going to take at least another 10 years.
Well, everyone wishes you the best of luck.
I'll be 70 and she'll be like 72. She'll have burned through all her celebrity film money. She'll be kind of gross.
Jesus.
I'll be kind of gross. We'll be gross together. You and me, Gina.
Just romantic to the end, huh?
Let's get gross together.
Oh, you might be bad at this. All right. Well, you want to send him off with your new cool thing, Dad?
Church. That one?
Yeah. Just give him one, just good definitive one there.
All right. Say it's about time to wrap this up.
All right, Dad. It's been a great night. It's been great having you here, but I think it's time to call it a night.
Church. Let's bounce.